And away we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan of Stay Happy Friday. Y'all, how how are you, ladies and gentlemen? How are you, America? What's up, South Carolina? How do you do, world? Phenomenal to be with you for 3 hours. 3 hours of sports talk radio, hopefully above mediocrity, coming your way starting right now. And Lonzo's going to end the week.
Yeah, whatever.
With one.
Because I was just going to say 3 hours ain't enough for me anymore.
3 hours of radio.
3 hours ain't enough for me anymore.
Is a lot of radio.
It's not, but it's not enough.
3 hours of radio every single day from 9 to noon. As the great Dan Scott has said many times, where can you have this much fun for no money? I'm going to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I love doing 3 hours of radio every day. It is the best 3 hours of my day.
The no money part is kind of a problem, but you do what you do.
Wait, listen, we do this job because we love it.
And that's why Rob has 37 jobs.
All sincerity.
And I got a sugar mama, so I'm good.
Good morning, Miss Lisa. Listen, I say this and I mean it. I love this gig. I love this job. It is something I have invested 15 years of my life into. If I do it well enough, hopefully 15 more are following. And I will tell you guys that there are, for everyone who hosts anywhere, there is a list of goals that we all try to meet. There's a list of goals, and there are individual goals, and for every host, they are different. But there are also a list of goals.
Some just like to accumulate a lot of sources.
Sources are good.
Yeah.
There is also a list of goals that I think are pretty universal. There are a lot of goals I think that all of us have. And one of those goals for I think everybody who plays this game is to get to a market that you truly love working in. Because I promise you, every one of us has worked in a market that we didn't love. But it was a job. It was a job. It was a good job. It was a consistent job. It was a steady job. But it's not necessary. Except Lonzo. Lonzo's been where he wants to be his whole damn life. He just calls his own shots. He's the boss.
Alpha, baby.
But the rest of us, we have all worked in a market that we didn't necessarily love. I don't know if you guys knew this or not. It is something I kind of keep relatively close to the vest. But I think Jacksonville, Florida sucks a lot. It's the worst. I affectionately refer to it as the butthole of America because it's just a terrible place. It just stinks. But I went there. I did some grunt work. I went back to the status of board monkey. I put in my time.
Wait, what?
Board monkey.
What's
board monkey?
What? What's that, Rob?
I don't want to talk about it.
What would that be?
I don't want to have flashbacks to my Jacksonville days.
No. What would that?
Don't worry about it.
Board monkey be?
I
mean.
Well, then then you can do the research. I'm not talking.
Okay. Well. Okay. All right.
It landed me.
Sorry, I'm looking for bananas over here.
It landed. You are not a board monkey.
I think it's implied.
It's not.
I mean, it's not that I have a chip on my shoulder. Big shoulders, big chip.
You always have a chip on your shoulder. You are not a board monkey.
Michael Jordan is my hero.
They didn't make it personal. You make it personal. All right. One of the goals is to land in a place you love. And while my experience in Jacksonville is one that I despise with every fiber of my being, it also led to me being here. And I tell you guys, and I mean this from the bottom of what Lonzo believes is my dark, black, icy heart. I love this place. I love the upstate. I love Greenville. I love this entire area. I love the sports community. I love being involved in it. And do not think for a heartbeat of a second that I take my position for granted, because I do not. It is something.
I'm trying to do the heart thing on the stream.
We switched it up. We do this now.
On Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and the X, in case you didn't know we're live. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
We do this now.
My arthritic fingers don't just like.
I do not.
I can do this though.
Nice.
That's for you, Kevin.
I do not take this position lightly. I do not take the role that I believe that I have in the sports community here lightly. It is not something I take for granted. It is something that I work at every day to try to be a better host, to try to be more involved in the community, to try to do the best I can to elevate what I think is already one of the best sports communities in the United States, certainly the best that I have ever worked in. There is another goal that I think everybody in this position strives for, and that position is to be in one of what we would consider the two crown jewel lineup spots. And that is, of course, the two drive time spots, the afternoon drive, the morning drive. It is something that no matter what market you are in, by earning one of those two spots, it tells you that you have become not just a voice in that community, but an important one, a respected one. So you guys will remember that when I got here, the initial time slot that I was in was from noon to 3. And then we had a little shakeup because we went from an affiliate of a different company to becoming an affiliate of CBS Sports Radio. And with that, we got the opportunity to carry the godfather of sports talk radio himself, Jim Rowe. But his show airs 12 to 3. And so we had to move. And we moved to 9 to noon. And we moved to 9 to noon for a bunch of different reasons. One of which was we really wanted to build that time slot up. We wanted to get the mid-mornings cranky. Well, we have been there for, about a year and a half to actually closer to 2 years now.
Has it been? I think it may only have been a year. I don't know.
I think it's a little over.
Are you sure?
However long it's been.
We were there a while.
Yeah, we've been in this spot for quite a while. And part of the reason why was A, we wanted to build up that time slot because it just needs to be there. And B, because when we moved to CBS Sports Radio, we had the opportunity to carry the DA show in the mornings, which DA is, and I'm a fan of DA's. DA has been for a while a rising star in the world of sports broadcasting, and we wanted to go in that direction. Well, those of you who missed it, it was announced on Wednesday that DA is leaving CBS Sports Radio, and he is making his way to Mad Dog Sports Radio over on one of the satellite radio channels.
Rob's boy, Mad Dog.
Yeah, big fan. So that means there's a revamp of that time slot of the morning drive. And yesterday, our big boss down the hallway, Mark Hendricks, called Lonzo and I down into the real meeting room. Not even the office, like the actual meeting room.
The largest conference room that we have.
Yeah. And he offered us the opportunity to become the new morning drive show here on the Fan Upstate.
By the way, I just want to point out, going into that room is different than being in the office. There's a gravity to it.
There's
because
an air of seriousness there.
Because it's one of two things.
Yeah.
And luckily it wasn't that second one.
Yeah. So that being said, the big announcement, since I've put it off for a impressive 9 minutes and 48 seconds at this point, is that starting on... Wait. We wanted an orchestra. We wanted a big band and things like that. And it's like, we got to have something here. And here's all we can afford. So Lonzo doesn't know how a club horn works. You do the big thing, then you hit the club horn. You don't club horn into the big thing.
So a club horn is not like fanfare? Like,
no, it is,
like introducing the king type of thing?
Correct. That is something you do, and then you make the big thing, but a club horn is the opposite. You do the big thing. So let's try that again. Ladies,
Sorry, at my age, sometimes things happen. Go ahead.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our announcement is that starting this Monday, as in 2 days from today, the Rob Brown Show, starring Lonzo and featuring Rob Brown, will be your new morning drive radio broadcast on the Fan Upstate. See, that's... I'm going to take your club horn privileges away, Lonzo.
I just got them today.
Yeah, I know, and then you immediately botched it. So
one
more time.
I didn't see that parked car officer.
We're going to practice till you get this right. So, ladies and gentlemen, starting on Monday, the Rob Brown Show starring Lonzo featuring...
I'll get it this time. I will.
So, ladies and gentlemen, starting this Monday from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m., because you're getting an extra hour of the show, the Rob Brown Show starring Lonzo featuring Rob Brown will be your new morning drive show right here on the Fan Upstate. Yeah. What that?
That's a better representation of this show than this is. Because when I hear that, you know what I hear? I think of Spider-Man.
All right.
And you know what he was doing to Peter Parker.
Jokes
when
aside,
I say Peter, you say anyway.
Jokes aside, sarcasm aside, LA Knight and club horns aside.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
No, I mean to put that stuff aside.
Sincerely, we are very happy about the opportunity. I can't speak for Lonzo. I assume Lonzo can speak for himself on this, but I am honored by the opportunity to move into the morning drive. It has been a goal of mine since they moved us into this time slot. There were a list of things that I was told by the big boss downstairs, like, these are the things we want to see and we want you to do, and these are objectives we want you to meet. And when you do these things, we will look at moving you into that time
See, that's the thing. See, I have a different take than you do about the move. It's that there are expectations, there are things, some people are handed stuff, and then other people, like Rob and I, we have to earn it, and that's the way life is. Some people get stuff handed to them. Other people have to show their worth and get out there and grind and do what's necessary to earn their spot. And I believe that's what we did. I
got told when we moved into this spot that there was not a litany, but there were some objectives. There were some things that, because again, moving into the morning slot is a big deal in talk radio. It is not something that you just jump into and you just go. It is a big deal. It is a banner. It is a responsibility. There are responsibilities that come along with it, and you don't just get handed this. I mean, it is something that I know people in this industry who have worked for years and never got put into a drive time slot. When we moved to 9 to noon, and we got told we want to see some stuff, we want to see some things before we can put you drive, Lonzo and I hammered down. We were like, we're gonna do what we need to do to get there. And when the when DA announced that he was moving on and moving over and that show was going away, I went to the bosses earlier this week and I said, look, we want our crack. Like, we have put in the work. I think we did a pretty damn good job with 9 to noon. We put in the work and we want that gig.
Two
correct. I mean, I don't know how you do better than earning not one but two-time winner of the SCBA Sports Talk Show of the Year
remember.
Award.
I think it says best.
Yeah,
on it. How can you do better than best?
You can't. It is the best. So, I sincerely want to thank Steve Sinacropi and Mark Hendricks for trusting us to make that move, for trusting us to jump into one of the two most important time slots that any talk radio station owns, for trusting us to pick up and carry that banner, to create something in that time slot that fans of the upstate sports scene can be involved with. And while I am thanking Steve Senecrapi and Mark Hendricks for trusting in that spot, and I mean this more than anything I've said so far, and I've meant everything I've said so far, I want to thank you guys, those of you that are listening. I know that there are many of you that are going to be able to come with us, and you may not be there at 6 a.m. when we start the show every day, but I know that there are many of you that are going to come with us and are just going to kind of shift your listening day ahead a couple of hours to continue to be a part of the show. We can't do it without you guys. And while I have made many a joke before, I mean it when I say that the show is better with you guys and because of you guys. The show is better when y'all are actively participating and shooting us texts and shooting us emails and shooting us phone calls and shooting us comments, yada, yada, yada. Man, thank you guys, because if you were not invested with us, then they would not invest in us to move us into this slot. So for those of you that are coming with us, I will say this. Alonzo and I had to talk. The last thing I said, and he said to me before I left yesterday, was the show's not changing. The show's not changing. It's going to be the same tone. It's going to be the same style. We're going to have fun. It's going to be loose. We're not going to take ourselves seriously. It's just going to be the same show, but earlier in the morning, and I'll be bringing an extra monster into the studio every day. And to those of you that cannot come with us, those of you that early in the morning, either you're still KO'd from the night before or it's just well before your shift, whatever, I want you to know I appreciate those of you who can't come with us into a new slot, although we do have actually 1 hour of crossover. So I know you can at least hang out for an hour. But I want to thank those of you who can't full-time come with us for everything you've done to help us grow the show in this time slot. And I also want to tell you that you can listen to every hour of the show podcasted at thefanupstate.com, so you don't technically have to miss anything, even if you have to miss it live.
All right, this is a part of the show where the heel interrupts, and me being the heel of the show, even though Rob wants to be, he's not the heel, I'm the heel. Ask Clemson people. Here's the thing. We're glad to be there, but there's some people who are not happy we're going to be there. Hey, morning sports radio, we coming. We're going to be there starting Monday. So whatever little rain you thought you had, it's over. It's done. Okay. You're shaking in your boots. You should be shaking, because we are going to be the number one sports show in the morning. We're already the number one sports show in the state of South Carolina. Now we're going to take over the ratings in the morning. So if you are one of those morning sports shows, I guess you had a nice run. I didn't know you existed till now, but you're going to know that we are here as you look at being number 2, number 3, or the bottom.
Woo.
Take that to the bank, brother.
So now that we have taken this long to get here, starting Monday morning, the Rob Brown Show moves to the morning drive. We will be on the air at 6 a.m. We will be going from 3 hours to 4 and taking you all the way until 10 a.m. every single morning. The show will be largely the same. We'll have some new elements. We'll have some new
sounds.
We'll
be live all 4 hours. I want to make an emphasis. There's not going to be a recorded hour of things replayed. That's not how live radio works. We're going to be live all 4 hours.
We will be live from 6 till 10 every Monday. Every segment, every hour will be podcasted at thefanupstate.com. So if you can't join us that early in the morning, you'll still be able to listen to the show. And as I told the bosses earlier this week when I asked for the job, as I told the boss yesterday when they told us we were moving to this slide, Lonzo and I plan on attacking that 4 hours and making sure that every one of you can look forward to getting up, popping this on your smart speaker, tuning us on in your car radio on the way to work, dropping us on the computer when you get there. We will still be streaming the show live every day. We'll still be on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch, so you can watch every single hour, every single minute, every single segment. Listen, for those of you that can't come with us, thank you for what you did. To everybody else, we are going to kick some ass in the morning.
That's what we're doing. All right, the stream is going nuts. I just want to say to Zach Brown, I believe no relation. All I do is work, dude. Come on. You know that.
He's a Hurricane fan, so yes, there's no relation. Love you, Zach. You're good people. All right.
He cooks a mean hamburger, though.
So
that's, it's not bad.
I think we've done enough of that. I think we've had some fun. We plan on starting 6 a.m. Monday morning, just absolutely smoking the morning drive. I'm looking forward to not the 4 a.m. Alarm clock going off, but I am looking forward to getting in here and starting. I didn't say it. I didn't say that. Alarm. I specifically said alarm. Like you guys have told me to.
It's not alarm.
It's a lot.
You sound like you live in Canada or Alaska or Minnesota.
I look forward to getting in here and starting this Monday at 6 a.m., bringing you guys 4 hours of morning radio that you guys can be proud of and that Lonzo and I will be proud of.
He was just speaking for himself. He's not speaking for us. I'm going to be happier to be here than he will be.
That is probably
so there
for the first, for the hour before we get on the air. That is absolutely true. I will be going, but when we get going, it's going to be great.
Yeah. How many? I mean, Monster should sponsor this show.
I'm telling you right now, buy
just on that side. I don't need it.
Drink. Buy it. Ladies and gentlemen, looking forward to it. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, it is time for our Robbie B Quad Box. We're going to take a look at all three major college football time slots, the morning, the afternoon, and the night. And I'm going to tell you which 4 games from each slot are the most important 4 games in those 3 slots and why we do that. When we come back in the second hour of the show, we have not 1, but 2 interviews for you as we go behind enemy lines. At 10:20, Adam Sparks covers the Tennessee Volunteers over in Knoxville. We're going to break down the USC-Tennessee game. And then at 10:40, Tommy Sladeck covers Syracuse up in Syracuse, New York. He will join us to break down Clemson and Cuse. Then at 10:20, I'm going to give you my best bets for the weekend. Let's have some fun in the very last edition of the Rob Brown Show in this time slot. Should have probably reversed that. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate, y'all.
Mad world.
All right, guys, quick live read. If you are here and you are new, stay right here. It is a short live read, and then we're back.
Meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on the Fan Upstate. Currently, it's 65.
I was on morning radio for 14 years on WORD, and it was awesome because I was able to, it wasn't always awesome, but I was able to go to all my kids' sporting events. And then there was the chance to jump over here also when this station started. And I wanted to be a part of the beginning of something because I never got to see the birth of a station and be a part of that. So I was able to do that. But, once you get over here, like Rob talks about, what you want to do is you want to get to the morning or you want to get to the afternoon. I was in the afternoon for a while too, but then I got traded. So, and happily traded, by the way. I'm not going to act like I was upset about that. So it's good to be back in the morning. I'm an empty nester now, so I've already got my day planned out about, show, then exercise, then nap. I mean, I've got, I'm a very planned person. So I am looking forward to that. And by the way, I may have said it was a heel promo towards those. It's not really. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take them down. Not going to be that difficult because Rob's amazing and I'm all right. So there we go. Thank you, James. Carlos has he doesn't have as many jobs as Rob does, but he's got a lot of jobs.
A lot of jobs.
And he has to get to and fro to those jobs. And sometimes he has difficulty. Plus, they're in the midst of, as you know, a big time shuffle in New York. So who knows how things are going to end up there. Rob, there's all kinds of stuff on stream, man. You need to look at all the stuff on the stream, including baseball stuff.
Text line's blowing up too. It's great. Let's see. Grab your Hardee's and your black coffee. We're talking sports at 6 a.m. Yeah. I'm cheating on Monster today because the fiance, because we are Costco members as 1%ers, got a big old case of Celsius. So I'm making the switch because Celsius, from what I've been told, is better for you. I don't know how.
What is it?
But I'm getting 1,000% of my daily dosage of biotin.
That's good. Biotin's important.
1,000% of my biotin.
Well,
if biotin turns out to be bad for me, I'm gonna drop off.
Is biotin like caffeine? Because I thought that's the reason why you're drinking that.
I'll learn that here at the end of the next of the segment. The Rob Brown Show rolls on, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back. Rob Alonzo, your starting Monday, new Drive Time AM show. We'll be very glad to be in that spot. But we still got sports to talk. We're not taking Friday off to celebrate because that's not how we got here.
We're not?
No, we're not. We still got stuff to do. Like, for instance,
I'll put my shoes back on. Sorry.
Your shoes should have never been off.
They're always off, dude.
They should be off.
They're always off.
You're at work.
No, I'm at my house.
The QuadBox, in celebration of one of the better broadcasting moves that any company has made in quite a while, YouTube TV this year has offered the QuadBox, which means get your feet on. Which means that at any given point during the day, you can tune in and have 4 college football games on your screen all at the same time. But that also means you have decisions to make, ladies and gentlemen. That also means you have to pick 4 games that you want to watch. Well, we're not. I've done it for you. Rob's QuadBox. These are the 4 games in all 3 time slots, noon, midday, and night, that will be on the Televisión at the Casa de Love tomorrow. We start in the noon slot, ladies and gentlemen, and this one may or may not shock you because, frankly, I don't think this is going to be much of a game at all. I jumped on the line immediately because, honestly, I thought it was going to go up a little bit after they announced it. USC opened as 21-point favorites over the University of Colorado, or I guess Colorado University, the Buffaloes, the Primetimes, the Deons. That game kicks off at noon on Fox, and I think you need to watch it. Not because I think the game is going to be competitive. I don't. I think USC is going to drill the Buffaloes in this one. It is my biggest bet of the weekend. But I think you need to watch this for the other team, the not fighting Deons. I think you need to watch this for Caleb Williams and co, because I think they're going to hang about 45 on the Buffs because Colorado's defense is atrociously bad and they don't have their best player available. So USC Colorado was a must watch with a Heisman candidate quarterbacking the Trojans. But I'm not going to lie. there's a little part of me. Deion's been mighty quiet this week after he got shellacked by the Ducks last week. I wonder if maybe Colorado's been in the lab cooking up a couple of things to try to make it interesting. That game's at noon on Fox.
He has said a thing or two, and he's pointed out, hey, they got their butts whipped.
Okay, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Deion has not been overtly brash this week
like
he has been in every other week. We haven't heard Deion talking about making it personal this week. Going in the noon slot, Texas A&M is at Arkansas. This one is also interesting to me, and this one is interesting to me for a couple of reasons. I think first and foremost, I am interested in this game because Arkansas is a pretty talented football team, but they have lost back-to-back games. They lost one against BYU, 38-31, a 7-point game that, frankly, I thought Arkansas should have won. They also lost to LSU last week on the road in Baton Rouge. But that one is interesting because it was a field goal game against a team that I honestly thought was going to dominate Arkansas. Texas A&M, on the other hand, is 3-1. The only loss that A&M has suffered, of course, the University of Miami, who seems to be trending upwards. This is an establish yourself game. This is Arkansas going, yeah, the BYU loss was a fluke. We're right there. This is Jimbo coaching for his life. Arkansas, Texas A&M, noon, SEC Network. Also at noon, Florida is at Kentucky. I think this one is interesting too. I think you're looking at Mark Stoops over there for Kentucky, trying to prove that this Wildcat team is in the right direction. They, by the way, for those of you keeping track at home, are undefeated. That being said, not against the greatest competition. They've beaten Ball State, East Kentucky, Akron, and Vanderbilt so far, but they've looked good offensively in all of those games. Florida is coming off of a 22-7 win over Charlotte. But the week before that, they were much more impressive with a 29-16 win over number 11 Tennessee. Florida's going to try to get the ball rolling on the ground with Trevor Etienne like they did last time. Kentucky may not be able to stop the run, but they are also going to be slanging this thing. Florida's at Kentucky. If this was in Gainesville, I'd feel a little bit less excited about it, but ESPN has Florida at Clemson at noon. And finally, also at noon, Clemson is at Syracuse. And I cannot tell you how important this game is. Listen, every game the rest of the ride is important for the Clemson Tigers. As we talked about earlier in the week, this season is not over as far as potential hardware. It's a long shot. The mountain is very tall. It's a lot of work to get to the summit, but this game will establish them. However, it is at Syracuse. This is a game. This is a setting. This is an away trip that has been very tricky for the powers in the ACC over the years. And oh, by the way, if you are keeping track, in a year in which we said Dino Babers' career at Syracuse might be on the line, the Orange are 4-0 on the season so far. Again, not the greatest who's who of competition in Colgate, Western Michigan, Purdue, and Army, but it's not the worst list I've seen either. And the Orange are just like we all predicted, it is Syracuse who enters this game undefeated, not Clemson.
By the way, this is the most important game for Clemson for the rest of the year. This is the Clemson character game. You're going to find out how the players are going to play, knowing that despite Rob's weird optimism, because it's just odd, their season is over as far as the ACC and definitely national championship goes. There's an infinitesimal. I was close, man. I was close. I think it got a possibility that they could win the ACC, but it's going to take a lot of other teams losing, and they're going to have to beat all the teams the rest of the way. We're going to find out about their character. If you've been told you're the best, you're the best, you're the best, here are our goals. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And then the goals are gone because you cannot accomplish those. Then you go out and you just play the game. So we're going to find out about their character.
I actually agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't agree with they're totally done as far as hardware goes, but I absolutely agree it's a character game. Georgia, as we move to the mid-afternoon slot, your midday slot, Georgia's at Auburn. The Auburn Tigers are in the midst of a big-time tournament. They have one loss. It's 27-10 against Texas A&M, who's also 3-1 on the season. But they did get a gritty away win at Cal back in week 2. On the flip side, the Georgia Bulldogs find themselves in the position we expected them to. They are 4-0 and undefeated, and they did put it on UAB last week, but they've got to be looking in the rearview mirror at the fact that they were down, 14-3 at halftime to the South Carolina Gamecocks, and thinking, all right, meat and potato part of the season. Auburn can sling the rock around a little bit. Let's keep an eye on this one. 3:30 on CBS, Georgia's at Auburn. On Fox in the same time slot, Michigan is at Nebraska. Now, Nebraska is not very good.
Nope.
They lost to Minnesota back in week 1. They lost on the road at Colorado in week 2. In week 3, they took on the Huskies of Northern Illinois. They're kind of one of those top of the bottom style teams. They got them 35-11 last week. They took on Louisiana Tech. It was a lot closer than Matt Rule's staff would have liked, but they got them 28-14. I am not in any way, shape, or form insinuating that Nebraska is going to beat Michigan. Dudes, they are absolutely not. But when you look at Michigan, this is a team that has put up between 30 and 35 points in all 4 games so far. They have not surrendered more than 7. They did so to Rutgers and UNLV. The other 2 teams got 6 and 3 in Bowling Green and ECU. Nebraska has not necessarily showed the fireworks that a lot of us thought they were going to show when they opened the season inside of the top 2, and by the way, are still there. This is an opportunity for Matt Rule to show that his team is trending upwards, which is all they wanted this year. This is an opportunity for Michigan with a full week of practice after the return of Jim Harbaugh to prove that they do have that spark that we've all been looking forward to. I am going to go with game number 2 in the mid-afternoon quad box, Michigan at Nebraska at 3:30 on Fox.
You know what I heard? Time to go out and find something to do from 3:30 to come.
Let that scarlet and gray pride shine. Great one. Kansas is at Texas. This game's at 3:30 on ABC. The Jayhawks, Rock Chalk, are 4-0. They've got a win over Illinois. They've got a win over BYU, that same BYU team that knocked off Nebraska. Kansas is one of 3 remaining undefeated teams inside of the Big 12. And Kansas is a team that after Oklahoma and Texas bolt for the SEC next year is expected to kind of carry the weight of, existence in the Big 12. And what would be better for them than to send the Longhorns off into the sunset with their first L on the season? Of course, Texas so far wins over Rice, Alabama, Wyoming, and Baylor. But here's the thing. The Alabama win was very close. Alabama was number 3 in the country, but they also turned around the very next week, did the Tide, and struggled against USF. They did bounce back against Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss the next week, but Alabama, not what everybody thought they were going to be. Wyoming stuck with Texas until there were about 10 minutes left in the game, and then Baylor, it took them late into the game to pull away from the Bears as well. Again, not a game that I am picking Kansas on the upset, but it is a game I could see it happening. And then we wrap it up in our midday spot at 4 p.m., half an hour later, when Mizzou takes on Vanderbilt. Now, calm down, Rob, you might say to yourself. How in the world do you have Vandy in a quad box game? You might say to yourself, and the answer is I don't have Vandy in that game. I have Missouri in the game that I want to watch. Why? Mizzou knocked off number 15 Kansas State 2 weeks ago. They took down Memphis 34-27 this past weekend. Y'all, Missouri is 4-0, and this is their introduction to SEC play. Eli Drinkfitz, another one of those coaches that was always going to be playing and coaching for his life this year. Well, this would be a highlight dub for them. Not because they're going to be, yes, they're going to beat Vanderbilt. No doubt about it. The discussion is how bad do they beat the Nerds? The question is, how thoroughly do they beat Vanderbilt? A Vanderbilt team that is sitting at 2-3, that has lost 3 straight, one of which was an L to UNLV. This is an important one for Missouri. This is a prove that we belong. For Eli, it is a prove I still deserve this job game. And then we move to our night game quad box, the 4 games you must watch when the evening time rolls around. Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi, y'all, is where the Ole Miss Running Rebels play. Who do they welcome in town? That'll be the Tigers of LSU. LSU took that loss against FSU. It looked like after that loss against FSU, they had bounced back. They put 72 on the board in week 2. They drummed Mississippi State 41-14. But last week against Arkansas, it took a gut-wrenching performance to get out of that game with a dub 34-31 over Arkansas. This is a prove-it game for LSU because they've got to go and do what Alabama did to Ole Miss, but do it better than Alabama did it to Ole Miss in their 24-10 win that Alabama did not really break on through to the other side until very late in that game. LSU has some proven to do if they want to show that they really are the favorite in the SEC West this year. That game is going to take place at 6 p.m. on ESPN. Notre Dame and Duke, my goodness, multiple quad box games this year featuring the undefeated Duke Blue Devils, the 4-0 Duke Blue Devils, a Duke Blue Devils team that took down the crown of the ACC back in week 1. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Devils are no joke. This one, ladies and gentlemen, is at Duke. It is at Wallace Wade. Notre Dame not just took an L last weekend to Zoe's The Ohio State University, but last week, the Buckeyes were in a fist fight with the Irish of Notre Dame. They are beat up. They are banged up. Is there a chance they could lose on the road in an upset to Riley Leonard and the Duke Blue Devils? You're damn right. A game that we don't need to spend a ton of time on now because we are going to talk about it a lot in the next hour. South Carolina is at Tennessee at 7:30 on the SEC Network. And then we wrap up your evening quad box late at night, 9 p.m., when the Alabama Crimson Tide are on the road at Davis Wade Stadium in Starkville, Mississippi, to take on Mississippi State, a Mississippi State team that is disappointed with their 2-2 record, with their back-to-back losses against LSU and on the road at the Gamecocks. The Bulldogs feel like they have something to prove. The Tide have looked vulnerable. They got to go on the road again to take on Mississippi State. They struggled on the road at USF. I'm really intrigued in this game. That's your evening quad. So at the noontime, USC at Colorado, A&M at Arkansas, Florida at Kentucky, Clemson at Cuse. In the midday, Georgia at Auburn, Michigan at Nebraska, Kansas at Texas, and Mizzou at Vandy. And your nighttime quad box games, LSU at Ole Miss, Notre Dame at Duke, South Carolina at Tennessee, and Alabama at Mississippi State. Give me your thoughts. Give me your picks. Drop them in the chat. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
That was weird.
The NL East champs can match the franchise record for wins in a season if they're able to sweep the Nationals. Meanwhile, Chicago's lost at 13 of 19. They drop out of position for a National League wild card. The picture's a little cloudy as the Marlins led the Mets 2-1 in the top of the ninth when the game was suspended due to...
Is Skrilla going with the emoji picks? I like it. I like it.
So the Mets have to have a chance to bat in the bottom of the ninth. The Marlins are scheduled to play
Big Blue over the corn. We're going. Wait, birds and bulls. Oh, got it. Jayhawks fall to the cows. I get it. I like it. You know what? I like emoji pics, Skrilla. I like emoji pics. That's phenomenal. Noted Auburn Tiger fan Keegan Sullivan calling the upset shot. I like that.
Tell me
I like that.
your troubles and doubts, given everything. Don't you forget about me. It's not classic rock, right?
Hey.
Do you consider it classic rock? I know you guys play it and you got the whole thing, but do you consider it classic rock?
I consider it more classic rock than Charlie Daniels, man. Listen, I don't mean to disparage one of our own stadiums, and I'm willing to take the heat if I get in trouble for it. Stations, not stadiums. But yesterday, on a station that, for the record, I very much love, Classic Rock 101, yesterday they were playing Charlie Daniels Band, A Country Boy Can Survive. Now, a song that I very much enjoy.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that song. That song
Yes,
was. No, it's not a. It's not a Country Boy Can Survive.
Country Boy Alone.
Yeah, because the other one is a totally different artist. That's Hank Jr. Don't ask me how I know.
They were playing "Leave This Long Hair Country Boy Alone," a song about Lonzo, and by Charlie Daniels Band, which is
that's me,
dudes. Not a classic rock song. It was playing on the classic rock station in the bathroom, and I was like, "What? This is not it." So yes, Simple Minds is more classic rock than Charlie Daniels Band. Also, update, we're getting our butts kicked in the Ryder Cup right now. I mean, just getting hammered in the Ryder Cup right now.
Shout out to Willie P if you're watching right now for sending me a text and congratulating us on our move.
Like
yeah. So CBD isn't close to, wait, what? Oh, Charlie. No, CBD is not what you meant, Kevin. I think you meant CDB. CBD, from my understanding, is something totally different. I don't think anyone thinks that, James, except for maybe me. But anyway. No, I don't even think Simple Minds was rock when they were pop. I wouldn't even. You know what? I want to look it up. I want to see what the internet says their genre is. Oh, they call it, the first thing it says is rock band.
I'd say it's pop rock.
Yeah, but I think it's more on the pop side than it is the rock side. I'm trying to think of other Simple Minds songs like Sanctify Yourself. I don't think that's a rock song. They had a bunch of other minor hits. That's the only hit that people remember. Alive and Kicking. Is that rock? I don't know.
Yep, Europe swept this morning, and Joey B, I got the scores up now.
All right.
Hovland and Hatton are square with Thomas and Spieth. Rahm and Hogard are square with Scheffler and Koepka. McIntyre and Rose are 2 down to Homa and Clark, so we might get a point back there. And McIlroy and Fitzpatrick are 6 up on Schauffele and Morikawa. 100%. 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, wrapping up hour number 1. Let's take a quick Ryder Cup date here. As we take a look, we are playing over in Roma. And let's just say the morning did not go well. Actually, that's not even true. The morning went bleep poor for the Americans in Italy in the Ryder Cup. We got our collective rear ends handed to us. Ramen Hatton won 4-3 over Scheffler.
Wait, did you
and
say
Burns.
ramen?
Rom and Hatton.
Okay, because I heard ramen. I'm like, wait a minute. There's a dude named Ramen.
Go get a granola.
No,
bar.
that
You're
sounds
not you
like
when you're hungry.
that sounds like a guy who could possibly play on the European tour.
Well,
I'm just saying.
John Rahm does.
I know who John Rahm is,
Okay,
but you
good.
just said ramen. You guys
Ramen.
heard it right.
Rahm and Hatton win 4-3 over Scheffler and Burns. Hovland and Aberg win 4-3 over Homa and Harmon. Lowry and Straka win 2-1 over Fowler and Morikawa. And McIlroy and Fleetwood win 2-1 over Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele. That gave a full 4 points to the Europeans in the opening round this morning. Now, the Americans currently hold the Ryder Cup, which means that in order to win, the Europeans need to get to 14.5 points across all 5 events. There are Friday morning foursomes. There is Friday afternoon four-ball. There are Saturday morning foursomes, Saturday afternoon four-ball, and then we will play singles on Sunday.
Is there a way to come back?
Yes, but the Americans will now effectively need to win 3 out of the 4 in the next 3 events to go square into singles and have to win that too.
Do we allow them back in the country after this sound defeat if it continues to go the way it
I
does?
was watching a little bit of this morning. I watched a little bit this early morning. Yo, the crowds there are ridiculous. I loved it. They showed the.
Hold on, you're not supposed to.
It's a football
Cheer
away
and
game,
thing.
bro.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to do that in golf.
No, yeah,
Is this Happy Gilmore?
Yeah, it was spectacular. They showed the rush of the gallery when they opened up to course to let fans get on, and it look. You ever seen those scenes of when Jerry World opens and you get the rush of people who bought standing room only tickets, like sprinting to try to get a rail spot so they can actually see the Cowboy game? That's what it looked like, but like a few thousand people trying to get across an entire golf course. It was unbelievable. Also unbelievable was the fact that we got swept in the AM by the Europeans. So they are currently up 4 points to 0 at this point. Now the Americans are on pace to get 1 point back if everything ended right now. Obviously, it's not going to. The Europeans are going to take a point from McIlroy Fitzpatrick because Morikawa and Schauffele are not coming back, down 6 through 9. That's unbelievably terrible. Those 2 guys should not touch a golf club the rest of the weekend. Homa and Clark are 2 up, so we will get a point there, and then we're going to split a couple of points if everything wrapped up right now in the first 2 groupings. But listen, if you're the Americans at this point, your only hope is that Thomas and Spieth and Scheffler and Koepka can come back. You want to walk out of here with 3 of these 4 points. If you can, that would bring the Europeans to 5. It'll bring the Americans to 3. And now there's a little bit more breathing room. But if we do anything but take 3 out of these 4, I don't see a path back. I think we lost this thing in the opening block.
And then the crowd swells as if a wave of noise as Tiger Woods emerges.
By God, that's Eldritch music! We got to take a break. When we come back here in just a minute from right now, y'all, the next hour is going to be stupid busy. All right? Stupid busy. We have got Tommy Sladeck coming on. He is the sports director of CNY Central and host of the Orange Zone podcast to talk Syracuse taking on Clemson. I got that coming up for you. We've also got Adam Spark coming on. He covers the Volunteers in Knoxville. He'll be joining us to talk Volunteers Gamecocks. It's all coming up in the next hour of the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. What hour in the books, kids?
Josh, you had me at 1. The rest, nah.
Ahsoka's great. Rogue One is the best movie Star Wars has made since the 80s.
There's no hope. It's horrible.
And
It's the
Andor
worst.
spectacular.
It's worst. It's on a lot of lists as the worst of all time.
Those lists are dumb and wrong.
No, they're lists that I agree with. That makes them right.
Those lists are bad And dumb and wrong. Why won't this thing go away? Wait, that's not the right mouse.
That's not the right mouse.
That one. There we go.
He done fixed it. By the way, I do love Ahsoka. I really do. I would put Bad Batch on there. I know you keep asking, Chris, and I'll have to look up the email because I forget who it is. It's the national guy. Give me just a moment. It's Ryder, something Ryder. I don't think it's Zack Ryder because he was a wrestler. Now he's Matt Cardona.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you.
Hey, who's the dude that's going 10 to 12? It's something Ryder. I can't.
Ryder.
Bill Ryder. Okay, it's Bill.
And
All
it's a
right.
show called Ryder Than You.
Ryder. That's it. Yeah. I know how it sounds that I didn't know that, but it's not us. So I only
Well,
care.
we just announced it yesterday.
Yeah, but I don't care about us. So actually I will know more because I will have to put together promos and
Cool.
stuff for Ryder soon. And then I'll remember his name. The answer, who's replacing us? No one can replace us, but they got to put someone in that slot. So there's that. So irreplaceable, irresistible. We need another ear in there. Irritating. Maybe that probably labels us also. I've heard bits and pieces of it. It's not bad, but he's out of California, so it's going to be a little more. He's definitely more national based, and you will hear some of the voices, at least the guys doing the sports updates are the same guys from the DA show. We've had to run network a couple of times, and I've had to listen to a show some. The thing is, I mean, it's a national show, so it has to have a certain level, and a certain amount of people have to think it's okay.
Are you coming to post?
Yeah, it's like, is someone missing? Are you posting a picture of Chris? I have, just figured he was on vacation or something, so I didn't.
No, it's
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh, okay.
You looking for pins? There's tape on. There's tape on my desk. There's also a stapler on the desk.
Yeah, go. Yeah. Yeah, but that's fun because you get to be on camera and people get to see you under.
You are getting your cameo on the stream.
I don't blame you there. Take your 15 minutes, man.
No, do not be in here for 15 minutes.
No, it's
You
15
have work
minutes
to
of
do.
fame. It's just, Oh, listen, it was Cade. So Andrew just shows you what we normally do after work. We just wander around going, am I supposed to be in this room? That's what we do.
That's 80% of radio.
Yeah. It's like, dude, what's up? Why am I here? I don't know.
Thanks, man.
I'm sure that we're going to re-announce
Yeah.
the move every single hour. So sorry you missed it, some of you. But we will re-announce,
Sure
announce again. Re-announce is probably not a word. It doesn't sound like a word. Is re-announce a word?
It is now.
Okay. We gonna re-announce it? No, that's a totally different thing.
tell you how incredibly painful it is to watch.
They make cream and stuff for that, man. I just, it's
All right.
the 21st century, modern medicine.
I got. Can I tell you how emotionally painful it is that my Saints blew a 17-point lead in 11 minutes of football last week, and then I watched the Packers get killed by the Detroit Lions last night?
Oh, I watched
same damn stadium.
I
on the
watched
same damn field.
some of it, and it was like, man, this is sad. I thought Jordan Love was supposed to be the guy. They couldn't wait till Aaron got out of
I'll
there,
tell you what.
and Jordan Love looked really good in the first game, and then now all you're seeing is struggles and talkings of Matt LaFleur being bye-bye.
Jordan Love was running for his gosh darned life last night. 34-20 in a game that wasn't that close. I'm going to tell you, the fact that Jordan Love threw for 246 yards is a small freaking miracle.
Did he throw falling down?
He did once. 5 times sacked, 43 yards surrendered on sacks. He went 23 of 36 with 1 TD and 2 INTs. Jared Goff, 19 of 28, 210, a buck and a pick as well. But it was David Montgomery's night. 32 carries, a buck 21, and 3 tutties on the day. Have yourself a day, David Montgomery. I'm not saying raw, a guy who killed my parlay because I needed 75 yards for my 5-leg 13-1 parlay hit and then 5 for 56.
This is so much like you starting the second hour talking about yourself and your concerns instead of talking about our concerns, mine and yours.
I'm talking about Green Bay's concerns
as a team, and the fact that Monday you won't hear us anymore at this time.
Wow, you decided to left-hand turn everybody.
Well, I mean, different. It's called Cume, man. Different people tune in at different times, and they don't know that we're done. This as far as this time Monday.
Yeah, we need to work on your phrasing.
We're no longer here.
We need to work on your phrasing, man.
You can't fix it now,
ladies and gentlemen. Starting on Monday, your new AM drive time show is the Rob Brown Show. It will start in its new time slot, 6A to 10A every weekday on Monday. And I could not be more excited.
Or be trapezoidal.
It is going to be a blast, to be honest with you. I am very much looking forward to it. Lonzo and I, yesterday, were given the opportunity to make the jump from the mid-morning to the regular morning, which we will do again starting on Monday morning.
When Dad teases, he's going to give you the keys to the car, and he keeps teasing. Yesterday we got the keys. It's a nice ride too.
It really is. We have put a lot of work into this time slot, into this show, because we both believed that we could and would eventually earn the opportunity to move into the morning drive. And yesterday, we got the old head nod from upper management telling us that has happened. So, starting on Monday morning, the Rob Brown Show will air in its brand new time slot starting at 6 a.m. We will be going from a 3-hour show to a 4-hour show, which will air every weekday from 6 until 10 a.m. We appreciate those of y'all that have been hanging out with us, listening to us in this time slot. For those of you that can come with us to the new time slot, we look forward to it. It is going to be the same show. It'll have some new sounds, some new imaging, some new bumpers, whatnot, but the tone and the voice of the show are going to stay the same. For those of you that cannot come with us to the new slot because life circumstances prohibit you from being awake at 6 o'clock in the morning, to those of you that are limited to this slot, first and foremost, we appreciate y'all. We could not have done this without you guys. And perhaps more importantly, all 4 hours every day will be podcasted at thefanupstate.com on demand.
It's like when you're sturdy and you have to go up a belt size. That's our 4th hour.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is. Trey has an interesting question on the stream. You can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and the Xio. will the new hours interfere with Rashad's spy work? I think that's an important question.
I don't believe they will, because Rashad comes on at 9:20, and that is still within our time slot, since we will be going from 6A to 10A. So Rashad's time on Thursdays likely will not move, nor will Fight Club. Well, Fight Club will come up an hour. Well, I guess technically 2 hours, but it will still happen on Thursdays, as it has been happening on Thursdays forever. We will be talking with all of our other interviews.
By the way, Josh, that might make a
going
make a
ham
liner.
at 6 a.m.
No, now going
Yeah.
ham at 6 a.m.
So
That
we
might
will.
happen.
Speaking of, where's Kev been? I haven't heard from my man in a minute. So I will tell you that we are bumping ourselves up to 6 to 10. I will be talking with all of our other guests, Emily Adams, etc., to see if when they will be available to join within the new time slot. Looking forward to that. I will also tell you that we have some new benchmarks we're going to be creating, some new segments that we will roll out over the next couple of weeks. Listen, when DA moved, as he will, today was his last day. In fact, he just signed off 6 minutes ago, and he is done with the DA show in its current iteration. When he moved, the boss said, hey, look, now's the time. Let's strike while the iron is hot. There's an opportunity. There's a vacuum. Let's put you in that spot, and let's let you go succeed. And that is exactly what we're going to do. And I am looking forward to it. I am excited about it. I think there is a lot of opportunity in that slot for us to continue to grow the show, to continue to grow the station, to continue to grow the audience. And again, you guys have helped so much with that over the 3.5 years that I have been here in the upstate. You guys have been with us through a lot of changes, a lot of time slot changes, personnel changes, life changes. And I appreciate those of you that have been with us the whole time. To those of you that are new, that have just recently discovered us, come with us to the AM slot, because it's going to be every bit as good as it ever has been. And we're looking forward to it. Again, if you cannot join us, Jesse, who has been a P1 in the stream, just said, I won't be able to listen live because I'm at work while listening each day, but I will definitely listen to the podcast after the fact. Yeah. Lonzo.
Jesse, what time you go to work, dude?
Seriously.
I mean, you can listen to us on your way.
Lonzo, when every hour concludes, immediately labels it and throws it up on the website, and it becomes available within, 10 minutes after an hour concludes.
I just hit save and close on the first hour. It is now up.
Yep.
So
So about 10 minutes after an hour ends, the on-demand podcast version immediately goes up on the website at thefanupstate.com, and you can grab those. So if you can't join us in the morning slot, it doesn't mean you have to stop listening. That option is there for you.
There's a cool thing on the Odyssey app called the rewind feature. So what you can do is you can go to your show, and I think it lasts for like 4 hours that you can rewind. So, I mean, if you usually listen to us at this time, you can rewind it on the Odyssey app, start it from the beginning, and it'll be like the show just started.
Yep. Going to be a blast. Look forward to it. And that starts on Monday, ladies and gentlemen. So like I mentioned, for those of you that can't come with us in the new slot, make sure you podcast the show, and thank you for helping us grow this time slot.
I stayed up last night late for the last time.
I did too, but it was because of Monday Night Football. I had to tell you, so the new alarm will go off at, 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning. I am not jacked about that. I told the fiance, I'm like, hey, I don't know what you want to do, because I got to start getting up about 4 a.m. She doesn't have to get up till like 6:30 or so.
Yeah, but as you've said many times, she usually goes to bed earlier.
Dude,
so now you can also.
Yeah. So first off, it's going to be it's going to be a now I go to bed at the same time as her, because I'm not going to lie, Rob Brown's a night owl. This is going to be the biggest thing for me. Rob's a dude that can stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning and then get up at 6. And, I hurt for an hour or so, and then I'm fine. So I'm fine. But That's 4 hours of sleep. To get 4 hours of sleep where I will have to go now, I got to be out. I got to be out at midnight. And that is, frankly, not going to be sustainable long term. So that means I've got to be at the absolute latest, conked at 10 p.m. Y'all, I have not been to bed at 10 p.m. without the assistance of whiskey in I can't tell you how long.
All right, so I have a lot of experiences at this because I produced a morning show on Word for 14 years, and it's called nap time, dude. You work in a 1 to 2 hour nap, and then you can stay up a little bit later. I mean, it's disjointed sleep. It's not as healthy as sleeping right in a row, but it's still sleep.
Listen, I did.
And when you get older and everything hurts, I mean, you don't really sleep that
years.
much anyway. So, I mean, you know.
I did 7 years of morning radio down in the Florida Panhandle. And I was 100% nocturnal. I for about 4 of those 7 years, I was entirely nocturnal. Like I would get up at, I don't know. So my show was 6 to 10, just like this one is. I would leave work at 10:30, somewhere like that. Like I'd finish a show and I would go home and I would sleep from like noon to 8 p.m., 9 o'clock at night. And then I'd get up and I would watch the end of, if it was a weeknight, Monday Night Football, I'd watch the end of whatever sports were on that night. I would work throughout the night. Like you guys work in the day. I would work at night like a freaking vampire. I would go to the studio at 4 a.m. I would do my show till 10. I'd go back home. I'd put on pajamas and I'd go to sleep. I can't do that now. I got too much else going on between the other 32 jobs that I am working, between all the extra work that goes in behind the scenes to make this happen. I can't be nocturnal. The other problem is I'm a big fan of the siesta, but if I take a nap that is longer than like 30 minutes in the middle of the day, I'm awake at awake at night, just awake at night. So this is going to be it's going to be a struggle for the first like 2 weeks. Once I get into a rhythm, I'll be fine. But to switch from, I went to bed at 2:00 this morning. I finally went to sleep about 2:15. The alarm went off at 6 a.m. and I was up and at it, right? Grab a Monster on the way to work. Everything's good. At this point, the alarm moving forward is going. Lonzo went to write something. I had to drop it right there. Alarm. The alarm moving forward will be going off about an hour and a half later than I have been going to bed for the past 3 years. So it's gonna get dicey. All right. But we're gonna power through.
All right. So all that stuff, this show is going to be amazing.
I agree.
Sleepy Rob, don't worry. There's a way I can wake Rob up every single day. There's something he doesn't like, but you know what? He will be very alert. And it's called a jump scare. You know, if that's what it requires of me to do, which I've refrained for the first time in my life, I have refrained from doing to a fellow employee, because I really, you know, a person of my size should not be able to sneak up on people the way I can. But, you know, I'm willing to do whatever's necessary to get you ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy Monday, and welcome to the very first morning drive edition of the Rob Brown Show. I am Rob. Screw you, Lonzo. That's how Monday's going to start if you do that.
That's kind of like normal Monday, though. I mean,
Wolf. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to run to a quick break because for the rest of this hour, we are going to be going behind enemy lines. Coming up in the very next segment of the show, Tommy Sladeck is going to join us. Tommy is the sports director of CNY Central in Syracuse, New York. He is also the co-host of the Orange Zone podcast, who covers the Syracuse Orange. He will join us to talk Clemson and Syracuse. Then, after that, we are going to be joined by Adam Spark. Adam is going to join us and talk a little bit of Tennessee football. He covers Big Orange for the Knoxville Sentinel. We'll talk to him about the Gamecocks and the Volunteers. We do all of that for the rest of this hour on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, got another live read. Y'all stick right there. We're talking football when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
still.
I'm easily forgettable.
No, it's just not. It's so automatic. The question is, what show was I about to call it? It was something on words, so you're good. I mean, yeah.
Sponsored by Corley Plumbing, Air and Electric.
At Corley Plumbing, Air, and Electric, we provide transparent, upfront pricing you can depend on. Call Corley Plumbing, Air, and Electric today, or skip the line and book online. CorleyPro.com. That's CorleyPro.com.
Football play-by-play all season. NFL Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night. Biggest college games of the weekend. German Paladins and Burns Rebels play-by-play. Plus the most compelling.
All right, we got any Clemson fans in the audience? I got any questions for Tommy about Syracuse? Drop them in the comments, and I'll make sure we ask him.
Wait. We're having a Clemson guy on?
No, we're having a Syracuse guy on.
Oh, okay. Never mind. We're good.
Now 9 to noon, but starting Monday, it will be now 6 to 10 as we move to your morning drive starting first thing on Monday morning. But between now and Monday morning, club horns for everybody.
I'm gonna get the timing down right because I've never been in the club, so I mean, it's.
I got it. Lonzo in a club would just be legendary.
Why do I want to go to a club for?
Why don't you want to go to a club?
Dude, why do you go to a club to drink and find girls? Been married for 31 years, don't drink. Why do I want to go to the club? Or if you got to do business.
People watch.
If you want to do business, you might want to do some business.
Between here and Monday morning, when we move to your morning drive slide from 6 to 10 there's a lot of college football set to take place, including some college football and the Atlantic Coast Conference. Clemson takes on Syracuse at noon on ABC, and joining us now to break that game down is the sports director at NBC Syracuse. He is the co-host of the Orange Zone podcast on YouTube or wherever major podcasts are found. He is Tommy Sladeck joining us here on the show. Tommy, welcome in, buddy. Great to have you. Thanks for taking a few minutes.
Fellas, happy Friday. There's serious Friday energy coming from you guys, and I'm all in. I want this weekly now.
Dude, you are welcome to join us whenever the hell you want, because all we do is goof off and have a good time and somehow convince people to pay us for it, Tommy.
That's the dream right there. That's the dream.
It really is. It really is. Tommy Sladeck joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Hey, let's get into this game a little bit, Tommy. Let's start with this. We went to ACC Media Days before the season started. We had the opportunity to sit down and interview Dino, who is phenomenal interview. You could tell the guys that were the Marlo Wax came on the show as well. And they love this guy. And I kind of felt like this was a prove it year for Dino Babers, that maybe there started to be a little tension there that, hey, we keep getting close, but we never take a step. And here are the Orange, 4-0 with wins over Purdue, wins over Army. What's the mood about Dino Babers and the Syracuse Orange so far this season?
Well, guys, there's a lot to like from what they've seen. I think there's a few people that maybe expected them to be 4-0 looking at the record, but as we know with college football, every game means the world. And so to me, the home games for them to go in against Colgate, Western Michigan, and blow the doors off of them. The starters were out in the second half. And the biggest, most impressive game to me so far was the way that they were able to head into Purdue, which was an amazing environment out there in West Lafayette, Indiana, and still the offense be able to do their thing and the defense be able to force turnovers. So they've been really, really fun to watch. And this is a team that started the season 6-0 last year before finishing the regular season 7-5. So I think there's a little bit of hesitation in the fan base right now of, can they still get over the hump? Because that's something they have to prove here. And it starts tomorrow with a very good Clemson team.
Tommy Sladeck, sports director at NBC Syracuse and co-host of the Orange Zone podcast, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate as we get set up for Syracuse taking on Clemson. All right, one of the things that I love to do is just ask people of their opinion of Clemson and the teams that we cover before their teams match up with those squads. So based on what you've seen, a team that has an L to Duke, but I think, frankly, Tommy, the best Duke team of all time, a team that has a loss to Florida State, but this is the best Florida State has been since 2013 when they won a natty. So the 2 losses for Clemson, I have said they're understandable. They're downright excusable if you ask me. But from your perspective up in Syracuse, what's the viewpoint of this Clemson Tiger football team?
Oh, dude, I'm with you. I've been on the record this week saying they're the best 2-2 team in the country, if not one of the best 2-2 teams we've had in college football in recent memory. Again, the Duke team's very good. What they did with Florida State, I think, was almost even more impressive, and they were so close. I'm saying they're just a few plays away this year from easily be one of those situations where I'm talking to you right now, and Clemson's ranked, 5th, 6th in the country. So they mean business, and I really like the Tiger team this year, and I think the fans have a lot to look forward to as the season progresses.
Tommy Sladeck joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Let's talk a little bit about your team, Tommy. Let's start with your quarterback, Garrett Schrader. 972 yards, 6 touchdowns, a season-long QBR of 87.8 so far in what has been a year that Syracuse started. I've said for years, like, this team, especially when they're playing at home, there's just something about them. And this team seems to have something about it that is maybe even more reflective of what Dino Babers has done with this program. Talk to me a little bit about Schrader. Talk to me a little bit about this offense, because that's been it's been big pass plays. It's Riley Leonard with Duke. It's Jordan Travis with Florida State. It's been the big pot plays that have kind of doomed Clemson in the 2 L's so far. So how does that work out for the Orange offense?
Well, Garrett Schrader's an interesting story, right? Because he comes over from the SEC. He transferred to SU after, being at Mississippi State and really not getting the opportunities he was looking for. He comes here. He beats out Tommy DeVito for the starting job in 2021. DeVito ended up having a good year with Illinois last year. He's on the practice squad with the Giants. But right now it really feels like this is Schrader's team. And it took a little bit of time to get to that point. Last year, the run pass option was the bread and butter for them since they had Sean Tucker, who's now with the Bucs. But this year especially, it feels like we're seeing Garrett Schrader at his best. And partially because the dude had elbow surgery in the offseason. If you watched him play, really, honestly, it all started to go downhill after the wild Clemson game last year, where it's just there didn't seem to be any power in his arm. He ends up having this offseason surgery, and the doctors told him you're going to come back the same, if not better. I think he's coming back better. I see a tighter spiral out there. And it's a guy that you could see him going through his progressions, but also, which is what we saw with the Purdue game, if he needs to use his legs, he's going to do it. I mean, he carried the ball 25 times, which any of his coaches are going to tell you, and even he himself will tell you after how his body was feeling. Yeah, dude, I can't be doing that week in and week out. But his legs are a weapon, and he's going to use it if he needs to. And I think it's going to happen a lot, given that I think this Clemson front's going to be able to get into the pocket.
Yeah, it's kind of been the strength of the Clemson Tiger football team the last couple of years has been defense, but primarily the defensive front seven. Schrader is a guy you mentioned can use his legs. He is Syracuse's leading rusher so far, at least in terms of yardage on the season. I think any team, not just Syracuse, but really any team that wants to have success against Clemson has to find a way to try to neutralize the defensive line and keep them away from quarterbacks, which has been difficult to do. Florida State struggled with it. Duke struggled with it back in week 1 in those 2 losses. What is the game plan for Syracuse to try to keep and negate the pass rush of the Clemson Tigers?
I think a part of it is making them worry about Schrader. I think you're going to see a lot of the run pass option again between Schrader and LaQuinn Allen. He's going to try to get it to the outside and just see whether or not the linebacker or defensive end, whoever's out there, he's going to see and wait until the very last second who is going to bite. And he's known from time to time when the fake handoffs to happen for an entire defense to bite on it. So that's where they're going to need to find success, especially because I look at this team as someone that grew up an Eagles fan, seeing Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out there be an amazing player. It's like, it's crazy. It's a full circle moment. So really that's going to need to be his plan, is to get one of those front guys to bite. And the other is receiver Damian Alford. I mean, they lost their main guy, Aronde Gadsden, for the season. This is the type of dude that, you know, I saw NFL scouts at practice back in August. They were watching him closely. He's gone, but this Alford dude, kid from Montreal, he's the type of guy where some games I'm convinced it's like the receiver in the Little Giants when he has tar on his gloves, because it looks like he's truly catching the ball with glue.
We are talking with Tommy Sladeck. He is the sports director at NBC Syracuse, co-host of the Orange Zone podcast on YouTube or wherever you find your major podcasts. You know, we've had a lot of talk down here in South Carolina, Tommy, about how important this game is for Clemson. I've said, I think, honestly, this might be the most important game that they have played in a very long time. Listen, the championship games and the playoff games, all very important, but it kind of feels like this game is going to do a lot to convince Tiger fans that, hey, Dabo's still got it. We lost to two really good teams, or we're starting to slip. It's not so much that FSU and Duke have jumped up as we have fallen back to the pack a little bit. How important is a win for Syracuse in this game, whether it's to establish themselves as we deserve to be in the top discussion of the ACC, or it's Dino saying, are you still doubting me? What is the levity of this game for the Syracuse Orange?
Dude, I would put it right up there with the way Clemson fans are approaching this game, because ultimately it's the hump that this team's trying to get over. It's the hump that's trying to get back to what we saw in 2018 when they had a 10-win season, because since then it's been kind of this meh, you know. Even last year, it ending 7-5, it left a sour taste in people's mouths, and they want something more out of the program. And when you look at this schedule and you say it starts with Clemson, and then, oh my gosh, it's North Carolina, Florida State, Virginia Tech, all coming up in the month of October. It's like, one of these needs to be a win, especially with UNC, Florida State, and Clemson. And I think their best opportunity, just because it's at home, because it's in a dome that still has the bleacher seating that makes the noise go bonkers, I think this is the opportunity for them to want to get that win. So it's interesting, right? Because you have both fan bases really saying this game means a lot. And that's why I think, as we've seen the last 2 years with this matchup, I think it's going to make for some great television.
We are talking with Tommy Sladeck, a little Syracuse v. Clemson. Talk to me real quick, and I got one or two more X's and O questions, Tommy, but talk to me about the JMA Wireless Dome, because we've had some folks, and we have Don Munson, the voice of the Tigers, on a while back, and he said, man, weird stuff always seems to happen to Clemson in that stadium. I've had Florida State folks on before that have said the same. We have seen some good teams go up there, and there's just something about that environment that creates weird situations. For those of us that have not had the opportunity to come to a Syracuse game, can you talk to me a little bit about what it is that makes that dome such a Bermuda Triangle for so many teams?
Absolutely. I mean, for one, the lighting is just, the lighting's weird. I don't know if I have any other way to put it. Like, you see NFL teams that are in the dome, but for whatever reason, when you come to this dome, the lighting just seems a little bit off. And as something as simple as that might make someone feel when they're running onto the field for the first time as a player, just that things are a little bit different. I know, like, when I'm doing post-game stuff there, it's a nightmare for me trying to do it where I'm not getting like a glare in my eyes. So to me, I think there's something about that just preaches to it being different than anywhere else. And then ultimately it's the noise, right? So there's renovations that have been happening over the last few years, and they're going to be switching and putting in more of those, plastic rubber seats that we see at normal stadiums. But right now it's still bleachers up and down. Like, if you're in the upper deck, I was at a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert over the summer, and if you were to just like open your eyes for the first time in there, you might think you're still back in 1970 in a way. It's a place that seems to have just times escaped it, and the noise, the bounce off those seats. So on third down, right, it's not just people yelling, it's people banging the metal. It's people standing and stomping the metal. And that creates a level, I think, that's hard to reciprocate for coaches to try to, get their players ready for it in practice.
Tommy Sladeck joining us here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. All right, last X and O question, Tommy. We'll let you go. Syracuse wins this game if blank.
Defense forces turnovers, and the turnover turns into a touchdown. That's how it happens. I think it's going to be a defensive battle all game. I think there could be a big field goal opportunity for both teams. And I know that the situation there at Clemson with the kid coming out of the Masters program is crazy. I think there's going to be a big field goal opportunity for both teams, but ultimately Syracuse wins this game if the defense, which they call the mob, if they force a turnover and that turns into 6 points, because I see that 6 points needing to happen from the defense given the way Clemson's defense is playing in the way that they're going to be coming out against the Orange.
I love it. Tommy Sladeck covers the Syracuse Orange as the sports director at NBC Syracuse. He is also co-host of the Orange Zone podcast on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. If you want to deep dive the Cuse Orange a little bit more before they square up noon tomorrow with the Clemson Tigers, that's a fantastic place to start. Tommy, my man, enjoyed it greatly, bud. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, Rob and the guys, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We'll do it again. Thank you. Tommy Sladeck here on the Rob Brown Show. Let's take a break. When we come back, Adam Sparks.
Wait, I'm not so big that I'm the guys. I mean, he said in the
We
guys.
are the guys.
I'm getting back to that, but I'm just.
Adam Sparks covers the Tennessee Volunteers for the Knoxville News Sentinel. He will join us next to talk Gamecocks, Volunteers. The Rob Brown Show rolls on the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, we're going to step away while we get Adam on the phone line. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back and talk some Gamecock football. Stick around.
Had Don Munson on a bunch. I don't get that. Do you guys not appreciate Don Munson? He's an awesome guy, and he's a Clemson guy, and we have him on at least a couple times a year.
Let's get him on to break in the new show next week. Let's get old Don back. The Friday edition of the Rob Brown Show rolls on, ladies and gentlemen. The last in this time slot is Monday morning. We move to our new time slot in the morning drive from 6 until 10 a.m. But we're spending Friday, if you will, going behind enemy lines, talking with those who know the opposition the best. And to talk a little Gamecocks v. Volunteers, we welcome to the show Adam Sparks. He is a beat reporter for the Tennessee Volunteers, covering them for the Knoxville News and USA Today Network. He joins us now on the phone lines. Adam, happy Friday, big dog. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Appreciate it. Good to be on. Looking forward to this game.
Yes, indeed, and we should. Let's start with what I think is obvious, Adam, but I've heard Josh Heupel say he is not letting his team use it as motivation. But come on, man, tell me what happened in Columbia last year isn't going to be driving the guys who were on the field last year to try to get a little revenge back against South Carolina.
Yeah, I've heard all week, and we've asked several players, sort of needling at them to see if they would admit there's some motivation. They've all said, no, absolutely not. I'm not buying it. I don't think anybody else is buying it. I'll give Josh Heupel some credit that a couple of days ago I asked him one last time about it, and he admitted that he understands the fan base will have that as a motivation. That was last year's loss was, as bad as a sting as you can have. Tennessee lost 2 games last year. One of them was understandable. It was against Georgia. It was at Georgia. You sort of take that L and understand it. But the shock of that South Carolina game was twofold, maybe threefold. It was, number one, Tennessee was confident they were going to go in and win that game. Number two, they lost Hendon Hooker, who probably was going to be headed to New York as a Heisman finalist if that injury doesn't happen. And 3, and the most important one, was they were going to be headed to the playoff. And they felt like that team last year had a national championship shot. And, it wasn't just that it was ended. If they had lost in Columbia by a field goal, that's understandable. But the fact that Spencer Rattler just carved them up, 400-plus yards and 6 touchdowns, and I think it was 9 of 10 drives they scored touchdowns on. It wasn't even a contest. And I think that the shock of that and the hurt of that is certainly lingered with the fan base for the past year. And I think to a large extent, players.
I want to talk about Spencer and the passing offense here in just a second, but talk to me a little bit about that fan base, because I have been telling people here in Columbia, not that they didn't know this already, but Neyland is already a very difficult place to play. I personally think it is one of the top 5 most difficult places in college football to play a game. It never gets the credit it deserves for that. But now you add on to the fact that this is, at least to you and I, it is indeed a revenge game, if for the fans more than the players themselves. What is that environment going to be like for the Gamecocks on Saturday night on the road?
Yeah, for one, it's just sheer numbers. It's about 102,000 people. There's all the different traditions that go into it that Tennessee has learned over the years how to rev things up. South Carolina obviously has that pregame there that they understand how to sort of lather up their fans. You have a lot of traditions at Tennessee running through the tee and all the pregame stuff that will get the crowd going. And the fact that this is a night game, I think, helps them. It's a dark mode game, as they say, which essentially it'll be black uniforms for the team, but it'll be maybe a blackout, somewhat of a blackout. That's actually been a disagreement in the fan base whether they should wear black or orange for this one. But they understand the stakes, and I think so much of the sting of last year again was there was the idea of the fan base that had we been there, that game would have been different. If the game had been here, it would have been different. And so I think there's a little bit of a pressure, maybe even the better words, responsibility, I think, on this fan base that not to let that happen again. And home field advantage is the way that would happen. Last year, Tennessee played terrible at South Carolina. They played bad on the road at Georgia. This year, the only SEC game was at Florida, and the crowd just overtook this offense. And so they got a problem on the road, but they certainly don't have a problem at home. They've won, I think, 11 or 12 straight now at home, and so they expect when they're playing in front of their fans that they're gonna win, and the crowd's gonna try to do their best to make sure that happens.
Adam Sparks covers the Tennessee Volunteer Football Program for the Knoxville News and USA Today Network. Let's talk a little X's and O's here, Adam, and let's start with what you mentioned a moment ago, which is that passing game of the Gamecocks. Look, the offensive line has taken a step back. That is not a secret, but it feels like Spencer Rattler has taken a step forward. Last year, he torched Tennessee. That was kind of the coming out party. This year, I have made the argument that Spencer Rattler might be the best quarterback overall in the Southeastern Conference. What is Tennessee doing to prepare to not let Spencer Rattler go off again this year?
Yeah, I agree. I think to this point, Rattler's the best quarterback in the SEC to this point in the season. I think it's one of those funny things that when you saw the line come out and it's double digits, we all sort of scratched our head and think, what is Vegas seeing that we're not? Because I thought the line would be single digits easily. Tennessee by 6, Tennessee by 4. And I think it's the perception versus the reality, and it goes down to Spencer Rattler. The fan base and this team and everybody that saw that game last year thinks of Spencer Rattler as the biggest kryptonite to this program. That guy is unstoppable because they focused everything that they know about Rattler mostly on that game, on that performance, which was obviously the best he had ever had. If you're Vegas and you look at the matchup of these teams, you see an offensive line in South Carolina that struggled, giving up the most sacks in the SEC of any team. And then you look at Tennessee, and they're among the nation's leaders in sacks and tackles for loss. South Carolina has struggled at times running the ball. You look at these two and you say, well, Tennessee is going to win the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball. They're going to get the Rattler because they give up a lot of sacks. Tennessee gets a lot of sacks. But so I think that's sort of the thing, is that which of those matchups is going to win out early on. If this pass rush can get to Rattler in the first quarter and then you have the crowd engaged, I think Tennessee probably wins the game because that sets the tone. If Rattler comes out and is dialed in and they can't get to him and he works his magic on third down, which he's done all season, and he starts picking apart that secondary, which, by the way, is the same defensive backs that he faced last year. They haven't changed much at all. And then he starts picking them apart in the first quarter. That the stadium, the sideline on Tennessee, all that will become very tense because it'll look like watching the sequel of a bad movie. And so I think that first quarter is going to dictate which ones that we see the rest of the game, whether Rattler carves them up or if he's in trouble from that pass rush.
If South Carolina is able to jump out early, if Spencer can hit a big Xavier Legette pass down the sideline, which we've seen them do a number of times, does Tennessee have the fortitude to go, if you'll pardon the Ted Lasso expression, to go full goldfish, put it in the pass and move on? Or is this a game that South Carolina can say, let's build momentum early and ride that like they did last year?
Yeah, I mean, everything of the last 2 years under Josh Heupel, you would say Tennessee would be perfectly comfortable in that. Coming back, getting up on people, it doesn't matter. You want points, a lot of points in a short period of time. Tennessee's been built for that the last 2 years. It hasn't been there this year yet, at least not. It's maybe in spurts, but certainly not for 4 quarters. And so this is, I mean, in a lot of ways, this game, I think, is going to set the narrative for Tennessee because there are a lot of questions on this team, especially on that offense of, well, you've done it before. This has always been the case, but this team hasn't done it yet. This offense hasn't done it yet. So this is the game we want to see it or we're not going to believe it. And so, yeah, on paper and the track record of this offense, you would think Tennessee could, you put them down 10, 14 points, they can come back. They can score fast. They can score in bunches, but we just haven't really seen it that much yet. For example, they've run their offense pretty efficiently at times, but they've done it to set up deep throws, and they have the personnel to do those. Joe Milton has the strongest arm in college football. They have speed on the outside. They have dialed up open deep passes and have not hit enough of them yet. So they've got to execute those. I think they're going to get opportunities even if they get down to come back. but they're going to have to hit them, and they haven't hit enough of them so far this season.
Adam Sparks covers the Tennessee Volunteers for the Knoxville News and USA Today Network. Adam, last one, fill in the blank. The Tennessee Volunteers beat the South Carolina Gamecocks if blank.
If they put Spencer Rattler on his back in the first quarter. I think that's what it is. That, as I mentioned before, on paper, that's not a bad matchup for Tennessee. Struggling offensive line, and you have a good pass rush, and if you can stop him on third down, you win the game. Because I think Tennessee's going to score. It's just a matter if you can get Spencer Rattler off the field. And he may be the best quarterback in the SEC. He's for sure the best quarterback in the SEC on third down. Best passer rating, most passing yards on third down. And that was the narrative last year. Tennessee could not get him off the field. He would improvise. He would do whatever he had to do. He was accurate with the ball. He would stay on the field, and they have to put him on his back on first down, certainly, to get him in third and long, but they're going to have to put him on his back on third down. And if that happens in the first quarter, Tennessee takes over the atmosphere of this game, and they win it. If they don't do that in the first quarter, I think you're going to see a lot of tension throughout that stadium.
I think you are spot on. Adam Sparks is a beat reporter covering the Tennessee Volunteers for the Knoxville News and the USA Today Network. Adam, my man, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for taking a few minutes, bud.
All right, good to be on. Thanks.
You got it. Y'all can follow Adam on Twitter at Adam Sparks, if you want to go a little bit more in depth behind the Volunteers before this matchup tomorrow evening in Knoxville, Tennessee, when the Volunteers welcome the Gamecocks into town. Let's come back in the next hour of the show. I'll give you some of our best bets for the weekend. We'll set you up with our NFL picks and predictions, all that and more coming up on the Rob Brown Show. The final 11 to noon hour of the show is next on the Fan Upstate.
Okay, which one of us do you think's in the kitchen? Rob? Is Rob in the kitchen?
The guy on the left, which I believe is me.
I guess it depends on,
But, dude, this would be a kick-ass kitchen, man.
Yeah, but
it would
where's
be a kitchen if I was single?
Well, there's that. Where's the island? Where's the I would remove the Clemson flag, but that's just me. But
I gotta fix.
I'm very glad that you cover up the entire Clemson flag with your body.
Spin it over.
Your body does that. So. Maybe I look more like I'm in my kitchen because there's wipes over here and there's a cup with drink.
Those were two good interviews, I thought.
Got to work on that intro for it, though. I think it will.
I agree.
The intro will help explain what it is a little bit more. So I have some ideas, but unless you were planning on doing it. No, you won't. No, you won't.
Paid for by government.com.
Government. But they're actually talking about a mint, that makes money. That's what.
Yeah.
That's why it's clever.
Government.
Just call 1-800-973-3094 and you are guaranteed a 2023 brand new uncirculated 99.9% pure silver Morgan dollar. But with limited quantities, you must call.
Come on, Keegan. Don't be doing that, man. He's at that in between stage. I'm sure he's feeling a little uneasy, trying to decide if it was a bad idea or not. And then you, above all, I'm being supportive.
The backwards hat beats the slick back. Yeah, you're not wrong. I put it on and I'm like, yeah, I should probably just rock a hat for another couple of months.
Like you normally do. I mean, it's not,
I took a break this week. I shifted this week to showering in the AM before I came to work as opposed to what I normally do, which is shower before I go to bed.
Wait. You don't shower before you come into work?
No, I shower before I go to bed at night.
I love showering in the morning. That way I can avoid phone calls that I don't want to take.
So I went team hat this week. I feel like
A hat does make your hair fall out. Go ahead.
Hats don't make your hair.
They do too,
out?
because it has to do with
You mean like physically? Like
your
literally
follicles
fall out. Gotcha.
should have time to breathe.
Yeah, you're either gonna go bald or you're not. Like wearing a hat's not gonna.
You can also rip your hair out. You can do that. Like if too many ponytails. I'm just saying. Speaking from experience. Rob's got the length for a ponytail right now. I don't know if he's ready for man bun.
Not yet.
You could at least pull off a top knot. I'm telling you.
No, top knot's got to be longer than a back part.
Not if it's a nub. You know, like a Doberman Pinscher's tail cut off thing. I don't. The Jedi or the Samurai. You're right. All my character creations in my games, I got to go with the Samurai look or the Jedi look.
I listen. I hope that between now and September it gets long enough to do the Qui-Gon Jinn, because it might be all I do. How long can hair grow in 1 year?
I don't know, Rob. How long can hair grow in 1 year?
In 1 year, Lonzo.
Dude, by the way, I did get it one haircut this year. So
you don't get a haircut, you get a trim.
No, I had 6 inches taken off, dude.
That's still for you. That's a trim. What do you got? 2 feet of hair?
No, I'm showing you how long it can grow in a year. So add 6 inches to this is what I'm saying.
Let's see. Hair grows at about a half an inch per month. So roughly a year is so about 6 inches over the course of a year.
Stop it, Jesse.
So really it's gonna get to
I lost a bet once. I ain't doing that
it's
again.
gonna get to like here by the wedding.
I think that study is subjective, and I think different people's hair grows at different rates.
I'm sure that's an average.
Yeah. So it does yeah. You know, I've heard that, Keegan. So maybe Rob needs to get some mane and tail. Take care of your hair, Rob, because it takes care of you.
Oh, listen, I'm Keegan, I'm going full team Jedi haircut if it ever makes it there. I'm gonna tell you what happens. What's gonna happen is we're gonna get to the wedding. I'm gonna believe that I have grown it out far enough that Courtney's gonna be like, you know what, I like it, keep it. And the day of the wedding, she's gonna be like, turn around. The third, the final, the best, the money hour. The Rob Brown Show goes now. This, is the fan upstate, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I am Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo on the other side of the metaphorical glass. Happy Friday, y'all. He got it. He got it, you guys. He club-horned correctly. You love to see it. You love to see it. Welcome back, y'all. Great to have you. Robin Lonzo with you. The Weenus and Pitt show rolls on. And
see, we missed it, man. That's what we should have did. We should have said, yes, we will move to the morning.
But we're calling it the Weenus and Pitt
only
show.
if it's the Weenus and Pitt show.
So for those of you that have just joined us or joined us relatively recently, there is a bit of news. What a legend. What an icon.
By the way, I made a promo over on Word using it too.
I love it.
I was waiting for someone to complain about it, but they haven't yet. It's played all week. So
by the way, I did find in the news a weirder guy than that guy, and we're going to talk about that here in just a brief second from now. But, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that just recently joined us, bit of breaking news. This is the last 11 to noon time slot hour that Lonzo and I will do.
It's been a pleasure working with you people and for you people, but we're done. We're out.
We are out of here because starting on Monday, the Rob Brown Show, starring Lonzo, featuring Rob, moves to the morning drive.
Sidekicks can't be stars.
Starting Monday, the Rob Brown Show will move to 6 to 10 a.m., ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Starting on Monday, when you wake up, this is how your morning's going to go. Starting Monday, all right? Don't put it in the noggin now. Remind yourself. Set an Android or an Apple or whatever phone you're using. Reminder.
Or, like use an actual alarm clock. Some people still do that.
Here's what I want you guys to do. What I'd like you to do is on Monday morning, when your alarm clock goes off bright and early, what I want you to do is I want you to grab your phone. I want you to have
I just want to say, if you want,
alarm.
I can like put this up where you guys can download this, and this can be your alarm in the morning to let you know that it's time for the Rob Brown Show. If that's what you want, I could do that.
Alarm.
Or you could just,
There is very clearly
it goes on. It goes on.
Turn it off.
It goes on for 25 more minutes.
Please turn it off. I like me, and I hate that. All right. I have been accused my whole career of loving my own voice, and it's true, and I hate that.
I love me some me.
So, what I want you to do,
son, that is one compelling argument.
is when your alarm goes off on Monday morning. I'm not going to play with it anymore.
Yes, stop it.
I want you to grab your phone, your tablet, your PDA, your beeper, whatever you use. I want you to go to www.thefanupstate.com.
Are you wwwing? You don't do that anymore.
I want you to go to www. Want you to go to www.
Why didn't you do the laugh?
.thefanupstate.com, and there's a button right there on the bottom, big and central, that says play now. And at 6 a.m., if you click that button, you, from this point forward until question mark, can start your day with Rob and Lonzo on the Rob Brown Show starting Monday morning. If you have a smart speaker in your house, I want you to tell her before you go to bed, wake me up at 6 a.m.
No. You say, Alexa.
Sorry, Alexa. Mine's computer because I'm a huge dork.
I'm just trying to trigger everyone's Alexas. Hey, Siri.
Alexa, play The Fan Upstate. And just make that your alarm. Okay? And then you can go your entire morning from 6 until 10. You can listen to us while you're stretching in the morning, listen to us during your breakfast, listen to us in the shower. You can listen to us while you're getting dressed. You can listen to us on your drive to work. You can listen to us when you get to work. You can listen to us for the first 2 hours of your work every single day. And if you are one of the poor, unfortunate souls who are locked into this time, you cannot listen to the radio for whatever reason from 6 till 10. You can also go to thefanupstate.com. And you can go to the podcast button that is right there at the top of the page, dead center. Drop it down to the Rob Brown Show. Click on that, because when we finish an hour at 7 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, when we finish an hour, Lonzo immediately takes that hour. He takes the audio from that hour. He compresses it down into an easily manageable 42-ish minute listening pod. And then he does two things. Number one, he downloads it, he encrypts it, he puts it on a new thumb drive every day, he puts it inside of a lead canister, and he ships it off to the archives of the U.S. government to be held in perpetuity as part of radio history. And then also, he puts that file up at thefanupstate.com on the podcast section so that you can go listen to that hour on demand. It is up within 10 minutes of the conclusion of the hour. So if you can't join us from 6 till 10 a.m., the entire 4-hour show will still be available for you at thefanupstate.com.
I'm your huckleberry.
Yes, indeed. So, in all sincerity, I do want to thank Mark Hendricks and Steve Sinacroppy for trusting us with the drive time. As I told you guys back in the first hour, everybody who does this job has goals. Everybody has a list of personal goals they want to accomplish. Everybody has a list of goals that are pretty much in common betwixt all of us. My personal goals included many moons ago to get into a major city. I feel like I've done that. I feel like I've done that with Greenville and Spartanburg and the entire listening area, and it is an honor to have accomplished that. My other goal, once I got here, was to kick enough backside to ultimately end up in the morning drive time slot. And we have done that. We have done that. So I want to thank Steve and Mark for trusting us to move into that slot and do a great job. And I mean this sincerely. I want to thank Lonzo because I would not have been able to accomplish any of this, and we would not have accomplished this if it wasn't for his hard work. He did this, all right?
That's what sidekicks do.
He does all the elbow grease. I just show up and look pretty on the webcam for 3 hours. Oh, by the way, now 4.
Now Keegan brings up a great point because he said that should be our show starter. What should we start the show off with? I mean, it's monumental. It's our first morning show together in this market. How should we start it? I mean, should there be something? I mean, should we like bring in a choir or something? I mean, what should we do? I have ideas, man.
That would like to,
we got room right over there. There's plenty.
Any choirs who would like to write a song and perform it about Lonzo and I?
All right, we don't
got the mics.
I mean, I'm down for a song, but I mean, you just come in and just raise the roof and do some stomping and just a lot of fanfare as we walk into the room and yeah, there we go.
We are moving to that time slot starting Monday. I appreciate upper management for trusting us with this. I appreciate, and I mean this sincerely, Lonzo and all his hard work because he got us here. And I appreciate you guys because it turns out that if nobody was listening, not only would Lonzo and I just be two weirdos screaming in a box to each other, but on top of that, we would be two weirdos screaming in a box at each other and unemployed. So thank you guys
all right
for busting it up so that we could justify heading down to the boss's office and them trusting us with this slot. Thank you guys for helping us make this time slot successful. Thank all of you who are going to come with us to make the morning drive successful. I feel, and I mean this, an obligation, a responsibility to when I mean, I've always felt this way about working here on the show, but certainly when I moved to the morning, to be a voice within the sports community that is there to enlighten, to inform, and to entertain you while you are all doing jobs that are important and matter to the community. Lonzo and I will be here to entertain you in the process.
All right. So on this, by the way, text line 71307, how should we start out the show? Keegan, let's see, is it Keegan? Let's see. Let me go up a little bit here because we're getting a bunch of them. Keegan says morning affirmations with Rob Enzo. No, it would be Lonzo, Rob and Lonzo, because that sounds more. Zach says dedicated to all the dead fathers out there.
Oh God,
that's what Christian Cage would do.
Incredible.
And say this. I got your mom's digits. Got to say that too. James says Tiger Rag. That's not happening. I love what Russell says. I gotta move on.
Oh, we're all wait for it. You've built the anticipation. Now I have to hear it.
Listen, ergonomics is not a thing sometimes. Russell says, I was upset to hear the DA show was going off the air, and I was hoping they wouldn't put a lame show in the morning slot.
Sorry, Russell.
Dude,
sorry, Russell.
Yeah,
sorry to dash your hopes, buddy.
Yeah, he says, I am excited to hear that I get to listen to you all on my morning drive to work. We're glad to be there.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully you remain happy to hear us. James,
we'll see how many people are happy at 6 a.m. when I come roaring on the air.
The theme from 2001, Asperger. Can you say the name of that is? No, it's Zer something. What's it called?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
The theme from 2001 has a name. It's Zer Sprock something. Look it up. You didn't know that it's. I
just thought that was the name of the song.
No, I believe it's German. It's Zer Sprock something. Someone from BMW would know how to say it.
Zarathustra?
No, that's different. That's dun 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 dun.
Zarathustra Opera 30.
Did you type in 2001?
I don't care that much. It's 2001: Space Odyssey. That's just what it is.
I do care.
All right, it's lost its name. That's what it is now. Bum, 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 bum. All right.
Yeah, James, you're right. It is just called Ric Flair's theme. I do agree with that.
Correct.
Yeah, but it's not
By the
really.
way, I don't know.
It's the entrance for the South Carolina Gamecocks.
So those of you that are relatively new to the audience as a whole,
There it is.
that's what I said.
Yeah, but
To those of you that are
he spelled it.
recently added to the audience, I recently got engaged back in March. I'm getting married in September of next year. The 21st night of September. We are literally putting it off like 4 months just so we can have a meme date for the wedding. But here's the fun part. Settle down. I'm excited about the mornings too, but settle down, live studio audience.
that was about the wedding.
So, the young lady that I am marrying is a South Carolina Gamecock graduate and a massive Gamecock. I, of course, as is Lonzo, but I'm getting married, not Lonzo. So, relative to this story, I am a big-time wrestling fan. And so we were going back and forth. And as we set up our ceremony and our reception, we're like, all right, we want to include.
So you're saying all that's done now?
No, God, no. Not even close. We are looking as we set up our reception and our ceremony to like include aspects of both of our lives, right? Like this is a thing. I like a thing. She likes, like, for instance, we did get this set, Alonzo. We figured out what's going to be for dessert after the dinner at the reception, right? That was honestly, I cared about two things at the reception. Number one, I cared that it is open bar. Number two, dessert. Like those are my two things. And so we landed on key lime pie and peach cobbler. Key lime pie because I'm from Florida. Peach cobbler because she's from the upstate.
Okay, I don't get why is key lime from Florida?
That's a Key West thing.
Is it?
That's where key lime comes from.
Does it?
Yes.
Wow.
So Florida's very key lime pie-y.
Bruh.
I know, you're just blowing minds out here today. But so we started talking about the first time that we are introduced as the Mr. and Mrs. Yeah. And I was like, what are we going to do? Like, that's a moment. And if you know one thing about me, it's that I am an absolute ham. All right. I love hamming it up. I know. Shocking. I made a whole career out of that too.
No.
I'm an absolute ham. And so as we were talking about this, I was like, I got it. I figured it out. She said, what? I said, I know what we walk into the reception to. She said, what? And I said, we walk into the reception to 2001, A Space Odyssey. And she went, why? You're not a Gamecock. And I said, I know, but you and your family are. I, on the other hand, am a wrestling fan.
I know what you're doing here.
It's better known to me as the intro for the legendary Nature Boy, Ric Flair. So here's what we do. We walk in. You get to walk in waving the white towel around like the Gamecocks do before the game starts. I get to walk in a big purple and gold sequin Ric Flair robe and do the spin. And she said yes. Whoa. So, yeah, we're going to nerd out hard.
Yeah. But so has the robe been ordered yet? Is it, have you got the robe together?
The robe has not been ordered, but I will tell you the hardest part. I am
perhaps
convinced,
there is a seamstress in the audience.
I am convinced
who would like to donate.
Of one truth about relationships. I am convinced of one truth above all other truths about relationships. And that one truth is
yes, dear. That's the one.
I don't
truth.
know. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that at all.
Okay,
I think the whole happy wife, happy life thing
Listen,
is bunk.
we have seen other transformations happen for you when you became old man, get off my lawn guy.
No,
I mean,
stop,
so it's just okay. All right.
This when we did this, like our dating life was I told her I will never sleep on the couch. It will not happen. If you hate me, I am not getting relegated to a couch.
You have like a guest bedroom.
I
don't
know.
you?
I will not sleep in my bed because you're mad at me. Here's the thing. I don't believe in happy wife, happy life. I believe in happy spouse, happy house. It's a two-way street. I'm tired of that mentality. But the truth about relationships, above all else, that I've learned is this.
That's very chauvinistic of you.
No, it's not. It's exactly the opposite. I believe that if your relationship survives your first move and your wedding planning, then you should be good. All right. You should be. Yeah, not all the time, but you should be good.
I wish it was that simple. I mean, that would be awesome.
That's my experience. Every relationship I've had till this point that has failed after a move. Every one of them has failed during and after a move, including Jacksonville. This one has
Good thing you didn't
survived
get
a
that
move.
New York gig then, huh?
This one has survived a move, and now we're wedding planning. And so we've been going back
That was
and
very
forth.
yesterday. You'd have to.
It's a throwback. It's a comedy thing. Yesterday we had a discussion because we're checking in with each other like once or twice a week. Like, all right, what have you gotten done? Where are you? Whatever. There are things I'm responsible for, things she's responsible for. Yada yada yada. And so one of the things that we're looking at doing is instead of hiring a catering company to do like a dinner, we're going to have a couple of food trucks at the reception. So you will just get food from the food truck and the dessert truck and all that. And so we sat down yesterday and she's like, what did you accomplish the last 2 days? Like, what have you accomplished? And I said, well, I got a lot of stuff going on over here. Like, these are all the things I've been working on. But what I accomplished yesterday was I found the Ric Flair robe on eBay that I'm going to buy. And she was like, so wait a minute. We don't have chairs. We don't have tables. We don't have the brass band. We don't have any of that. These are all the things that are in your window. And you don't have any update on those, but you have the Ric Flair robe. And I went, yeah. She said, how much is this Ric Flair robe going to cost? And I did everything in my power not to tell her. And then I told her. And I was told, why don't you focus on the tables and the chairs first? And I agreed. That was probably that. That is the priority. But it's going to be dope. It's going to be good. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a couple of segments left for you here in the final 11 to noon hour of this show. When we come back here in just a minute, we have talked a bunch of college football. When we come back in a minute, we talk some NFL. Let's take a look up and down the NFL weekend schedule and make some picks, predictions, projections, and prognostications. We do it next with Robin Lonzo on the. Why I say with? We are Robin Lonzo. We're not with. I mean, technically we are.
We got to record a promo after, and you're like, you're getting in that.
Discombobulated.
You're getting in that mode.
Texture said, my first wedding, I came out to Space Odyssey with my guitarist on his Marshall stack shredding. It was a smoke machine throwing up the four fingers. It lasted a year.
Still, dude.
For the record, that is badass.
Yeah, that's wicked, man.
That is badass, dude. You may have just changed my plan.
She's not gonna. Well, you know a guy. You know a guy. Yeah.
Oh man. Back after this to talk NFL football on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Kobe. I just filmed a wedding that did the Gamecock towels with the Gamecock logo and the wedding date on the towel, and the reception all waved the towels as the couple walked in. That's actually kind of dope. You may need to text my fiance that, Keegan. She might go for that. I don't hate that at all. I don't necessarily want the Gamecock logo on it, but that might not be my call. Because I get my Ric Flair robe, and frankly, I'm more than happy with that. All right, be back in 45 seconds, guys.
Imminent. What does that also?
That was 45 seconds, by the way.
That Clemson might just have a way out of the grant of rights, which is tying them to the ACC through 2036. Well, how are they doing it? It's anybody's guess, but the belief is that strength in numbers, Florida State, North Carolina, Miami, maybe even Georgia Tech, being on their side, all wanting to get out, might give them a snowball's chance. It's also the
Yeah. Shut up.
Tell us how you really feel. We went to Lowe's this past weekend, and they have like a 14-foot tall skeleton mummy.
Yeah.
I was real close to cutting into the wedding fund.
We were there, and I told
Real close.
Lisa was getting ready to touch this little evil looking girl. I was like, do not touch her. And she's like, and she touched it, and the head went up like a foot. And she was, I thought I was going to have to take her to the hospital. I was like, listen, I told you don't touch it. What are you doing?
Dude, I want that giant skeleton.
I hate when there are problems elsewhere that I'm expected to fix while I'm like presently doing something. So, I can be almost everywhere, just not everywhere. There's only one person in the building who can be everywhere or hear everything, especially all the mistakes. Yeah, I know I'm typing loud again. I think this is bad. Wait till you hear me do it in the morning, early morning.
The Arn Anderson Four Horsemen theme is better anyway. Texture said hire Burns Band to do the brass. Well, we're doing it in St. Augustine, or else I actually would consider that. You know what? We've been looking at brass bands, and they're not cheap. I wonder if you could, like, go to a local school and be like, if you're jazz, because we want a second line, right? That's a very New Orleans thing. We're going to do a celebratory second line from the
Okay. What's the second line?
The Jazz March.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So it's led by.
Why is it called a second line? As in there's a first line and then there's a
first line
second.
is all the dignitaries at a party, and the second line is all the revelry, right? That would follow them somewhere.
So wait, you have dignitaries? Okay, all right. So the wedding party is the dignitaries,
it's just
and everybody
called,
else.
Yeah, it's just everybody's in the second line.
I legitimately am trying to understand. That's all.
So a second line is traditionally led by a brass band that play upbeat brass jazz music, and then everybody just marches together wherever you're going, with parasols and party favors and napkins waving in
Parasol.
the air.
I thought you wore that's something
umbrella.
you wear. Oh, okay. Oh, never mind. You should have said penguin, and I would have got it.
Parasol. So we're going to do a second line. I wonder if you could, like, if I could take the money we were going to use for a brass band that is clearly not enough money for a 4-piece brass band and offer a donation to like a jazz quartet at a local high school. Be like, we want to pay you guys to do a second line.
I would listen to them first.
I think that's, well, yeah.
You might.
The Robert Hunt Show rolls on, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate. I am Rob, the Great One Lonzo, on the other side of the metaphorical glass this AM. Our last time in this time slot, as Monday morning, we make the jump to the morning drive. The show will be 6 to 10 a.m. starting on Monday.
Is it real yet? I mean, for you, does it feel real yet?
Dude, when the alarm went off this morning at 6 a.m.
I'm not going to do it because
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When the alarm went off at 6 this morning.
That was a pirate. That was a pirate. That was a pirate alarm.
And the lady friend woke up and she looked at me before either of us had gotten out of bed. She rolled over and she looked at me and she said, I hope you enjoyed your last morning sleeping in. And I went, sleeping in at 6 a.m. And she said, yeah, Monday, you'll be on the air right now. And I went,
you didn't say that.
Oh,
tell me you did not just say that.
Yeah. Yeah. So suffice to say, I am wildly excited about moving to the morning slot. Not so wildly excited about that. Blah, blah, blah,
All right, so
going off at 3:45.
I just thought about the thing that I hated the most about doing mornings before is how dark it is out in the woods and the noises that when I come outside I hear, and I don't know what, and I don't
That's
know
your
what,
choice.
I don't know what they are.
That was your decision.
And then I rush to the car because you don't know if I'm going to get got.
You decided to live on a compound in the sticks, literally in the sticks.
Well, it's it's like the opposite of living in the middle of the city, which I did before. So now I can say I've lived in the middle of the city, and I've lived in the middle of the woods. And I gotta say, I can't decide which one I like the most. It's weird.
Let's get into some NFL games this weekend. We had last night the Lions knock off the Packers 34-20, and then we started all off tomorrow.
The Lions are legit. You think that defense says? I mean, again, it's strength of opponent, and I get that.
Defense is good. I'm going to say two things. Number one, I lost a lot of confidence in Matt LaFleur last night. So did the Packers fans. I got on Twitter after that game was over, and I was like, man, Matt LaFleur, just a bad night in charge of this offense. And the Packers fans seem to agree. A. B, they got Aaron Jones back last night, and he looks awful. He looked awful. Couldn't hit a hole, could not accelerate, couldn't break tackles. He looked atrocious. Like, as a Saints fan, I wanted to say, oh, no, the Packers are just really good, but I don't think they are. I think the Lions just kind of smoked them last night. So I think the Lions are good, but I thought it was pretty well reflected at the end of the night when Herb Street asked Al Michaels, do you believe now? And Al was like, nah.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, much like the NFC South, someone's got to win that. And as far as strength goes, that's got to be the team, right? I mean, for that division?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of guess it does. Chicago sucks.
And Minnesota ain't won a game yet.
And Green Bay's one game off, but maybe so. Tomorrow morning, ladies and gentlemen, Sunday morning, we got an early kick, 9:30 in the a.m. live from London, England. The Atlanta Falcons are on the road as they take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, or as I like to refer to them now, the London Beefeaters, because they're moving over. There's no doubt about it. The Jags are a shocking 1-2 after they got dumped by the Texans last week.
It's not shocking. You got duped last year.
Dude, come on. Even if with the Colts and the Texans as the opening two games, you cannot have expected them to be 1-2 after 3 with the Colts and the Texans as 2 of those.
I will say I approached those games with a whole lot less confidence than you did.
Yes, you did, but that doesn't mean you did not pick the the Texans to beat the Jags. So I am shocked.
I might have, because they have that stellar quarterback.
I'll have to go back and check. Either way, this one's going to be in London. What a day for CJ for his biggest away game, or for Desmond Ridder for his biggest away game to be all the way over in London. But I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to go with Atlanta. So they just showed a stat on TV a minute ago that in the opening 2 months of the season over the last 2 years, Trevor Lawrence is like 2-8. It's bad. He just has terrible starts to the season.
Why haven't you blamed it on Urban Meyer yet?
I'd be happy to. Urban sucks. This is all his fault. All right. Listen, I like Bijan Robinson. The dude is he's impressive. He is showing he was worth that first round pick, but they've got some dudes on defense that can play too here. I think that, and I'll go ahead and pull the lines up. I think that Jacksonville is likely going to be listed in this game as the betting favorite.
You know what I'm going to do?
The Jags are -3. I am taking the Falcons +3 to cover.
I'm going Jacksonville because this is more of a home game for them than it is when they're in Jacksonville. How many times have they been over there? Atlanta, this is like the first time they've been there, right?
I think they played one a couple of years back.
All right.
Over there, I think. But it's not the same team.
Yeah, there's hardly anybody on that team that was probably there. So Jacksonville knows how to acclimate as far as the flying over there and the food and all that kind of stuff.
That's
And
fair.
so I think that gives them an advantage. And also they'll have the crowd advantage, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know about that. It seems pretty split most of these games. I think the Jaguars are the team going to London, but I don't think London has bought in as the Jags are our team yet. But we'll find out. I'm going to take the Falcons +3. He's taking the Jags -3. The Buccaneers and the Saints get going in the 1 o'clock spot, an NFC South battle. The winner of this game will likely be, depending on the outcome of the Atlanta game, the winner of this game will be the NFC South division leader out of the gate.
Because someone has to be.
The Saints are -3.5 at home. The Buccaneers, of course, just lost this past weekend. The Saints also lost on the road at Green Bay. The Buccaneers.
Do you trust Jameis? Do you trust him?
I don't have no.
Okay. I'm just
I don't have a choice.
That's just a question I'm asking.
Here's what I
if you
do
trust Jameis.
Alvin Kamara's back this week. If there is one thing that Jameis has been able to do well in his time in New Orleans, it's hit AK for a screen.
Don't make him
combine
mad
that-
because, hit is the operative word. If
You
make him mad,
combine
he
that
sucks,
with
yeah.
Taysom Hill, who I think is going to be called upon a little bit more. He's been called upon a lot the last couple of weeks, but I think he's going to get some more totes this week to try to vary up the offense. Saints -3.5 at home, though. That's a big line. I'm gonna go ever slightly into New Orleans.
I'm gonna go Baker.
Old
There.
Tampa Baker Mayfield.
There we go. Why not?
Vikings are at Carolina. This one back in Charlotte. Both teams are 0-3. Somebody's
got to win.
is getting their first dub this week. And from what we understand, Bryce Young will be playing in this game. He has been practicing all week. I don't love that. I would rather you rest him and get him back to 100%. Listen, I don't care about wins and losses for the Carolina Panthers. I care about growth. The question mark is, does Adam Thielen play with a chip on his shoulder against his former team? It's not like they let him go, and there is a big thing of vengeance, or at least it's been quiet if there is. That being said, I think the Vikings are a more well-rounded team. Their offense has stunk, but Kirk Cousins does have over 1,000 yards and 9 tutties to just 2 picks. Give me Minnesota. The line on this one. Let me get the line pulled up here.
By the way,
Carolina +4.5.
So Zach on the stream says Vikings, even more confident Vikings if Young is playing. So a lot of people have
I'm
this
okay with
the same.
That's not offensive.
I'm going to go with the Panthers, not because it's a homer pick, but because of Minnesota's offensive line. I don't think they're that good. And one thing you can be confident in on the Panthers is the defensive line. So that's for that reason. If it's a shootout, Kirk Cousins is probably going to win. But if he's running for his life, and if the Panthers offense can block for Bryce, and he can roll out where he can see.
Did you ever think that Jordan Jefferson and Madison ball game? Addison and Jefferson are going to kill the Carolina secondary.
I'm still going to go with Panthers anyway. Good thing
fine.
the Boo Box isn't going on because we went opposite each other the entire way.
Dolphins Bills at 1 o'clock, game of the weekend without a doubt. Tua Tagovailoa taking on Josh Allen. Here's an interesting number. I saw this yesterday. In the National Football League, teams that have scored 60 points or more, Lonzo, are 1-16 straight up in the following week, 0-17 against the spread. The Bills are 3-point favorites in this one over the Dolphins, despite the fact that the Dolphins put up 70 last week. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm taking the Miami Dolphins. I like Josh Allen.
You're not going with Josh?
I can't. Not
just
Josh. Here's the
Josh.
thing. In days gone by, that 1-16 record scares me a little bit, and it might jump up and bite me a little bit. But I don't see Mike McDaniels, the mad scientist that he has been with that offense, not having a couple of wrinkles that they still haven't shown because of the importance of this game. Give me the Dolphins, and I get 3 points on the line. Miami Dolphins. Those Dolphins sometimes wear a hat.
I gotta say, it's obvious that Kevin is actually moving some earth or something because he's not on the stream right now. But I'm going Miami. Also, the most accurate quarterback in the history of the NFL.
Oh, now you're just walking it up to try to make Tyreek look bad.
Yeah, well,
Broncos.
Hey, did you
Bears.
see what Tyreek wants to be after he's done?
Yeah, he said it was a joke, but Tyreek earlier this week said that when he retires from the NFL, he wants to do porn. Hey, man, If you can get paid, get paid. I ain't mad at you. Broncos Bears 1 o'clock in the Struggle Bus Bowl. The Bears are, Lonzo, and I feel confident that this is an astute bit of analysis. Terrible.
Come on.
Right now?
Come on. You can't say that about the Broncos also.
The Broncos are terrible too.
How bad did the Broncos lose by?
The 50.
Yeah.
But.
Let's ride.
They scored 20, something that the Bears have managed one time this season, and it was against the Packers in week 1. They put up 17 on Tampa, 10 on the Chiefs. The Broncos are -3 in this game, and I am taking the favorite to cover. Give me Denver -3.
All right, there's
no way the Broncos don't bounce back.
This is a case where I despise the Broncos with all my being, because John Elway is a punk, and he will forever be a punk. And despite being ridiculed and all those things, there is an Ohio State quarterback for Chicago. This game's going to suck so bad that it might be interesting, but I'm going to go with Chicago accidentally winning.
Accidentally.
Yeah, it's going to be oops. A lineman's going to pick up a scoop and score, and it may even be a Denver Bronco will go the wrong way and score a touchdown, and then Chicago will win.
They're not that
It could.
Denver -3 to cover.
It's happened before.
All right, we got to pick up the pace here and sprint through the rest of these. Ravens at Browns. Deshaun Watson actually, despite throwing an Aaron Brooks backward pass last week, bounced back and actually had a pretty sizable week. But the Ravens are sitting at 2-1 after they lost to the Colts, and Lamar was furious when that's over. Give me Baltimore on the line here. In fact, I think I'm going to go Baltimore and the cover. The line is Cleveland -2.5.
Yeah, give me the Browns. I'm going Browns
Really?
here. Yeah, despite all that Lamar drama, they've always been a little bit overrated. The Browns, Deshaun's actually starting to play football.
I believe they're playoff overrated. I don't think they're regular season overrated. I'll take Baltimore. Alonzo taking the Browns to cover. Bengals, Titans. I don't even know what the line is. I don't care. Give me Cincinnati.
Yeah, going
God,
Bengals.
Tennessee, what the hell's wrong with you? They're awful. Cincinnati only 2.5-point favorites.
Yeah, well, they haven't been great either.
No, they haven't, but the Titans have been tragic this year. They got the win over the Chargers, who also don't look great.
Wear the
And then
white tiger.
Browns smoked them.
Wear the white tiger uniforms.
That was dope. I loved
Those
it.
things are sweet.
Yeah. Rams, Colts, 1-2 goes LA, 2-1 go the Colts, but a surprising 2-1 go the Colts. The line on this one is currently set at Colts -0.5. They got to win by 1. It's basically a pick 'em
Who's the
game here.
who's the QB this week? Is it
I
Minshew
do
or
not
is
yet
it?
know if Anthony Richardson is back.
I will tell you, it doesn't matter. I'm going Colts.
Okay. I don't hate that. I'm going to go the other way. I think the Rams, you got to go look at what the Rams have done. Yes, they are 1-2, but they were in that game with San Francisco till the very end. They were in that game with Cincinnati till the very end. And I think at some point the Colts wagon's got to slow down a little bit. Give me LA to cover and win that game outright. Commanders, Eagles at 1 o'clock. I'm all Eagles. The Commanders showed their hand last week.
Wait.
They're fine, but they're not good.
I thought Eric Bieniemy was going to solve that problem.
I don't think it's Eric Bieniemy. I don't think it's Sam Howell, to be honest with you.
All
I think
right.
it's just the team's not that good.
Yeah.
But the Eagles are -9. They got to win by 10 or better. I'm taking them. Eagles win.
Okay,
Eagles cover.
Zach, who is a big time Indianapolis, yeah, that's it, fan, says that.
AR's practicing.
Yes.
Well, I mean, even if he comes back, I'm still going Rams in that one. Steelers, Texans. Steelers are 2-1. The Texans are 1-2, but an impressive 1-2.
Steelers.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Steelers on this one too. I like what the Texans did against the Jags, but they got to bounce back a little bit. The law of averages in play. Raiders, Chargers taking place at 4:05. The Chargers and the Raiders are both 1-2. Of course, last weekend, the Raiders just fell shy of those same Steelers. The Chargers, on the other hand, took a 28-24 win over the hapless Minnesota Vikings, but they fall into the Dolphins and the Titans. I'm going to go with the Chargers on this one. I think that there is a button waiting to be pushed for the LA Superchargers. They are -5 on the line. I'll take them to cover. Justin Herbert has himself a day.
I'm going to go with Jimmy G this time.
Okay.
Why not?
I like it. Jimmy G and his Raiders need to cover or need to be inside of 5 to win that bet. Patriots, Cowboys, nighttime. Oh, the Cowboys got embarrassed by the Cardinals last week, but this may shock you. The Patriots are not good.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because come on, dude. Come on. Coming before that game, you would have said Arizona was, and we probably did, if not the worst team in the league, but one of them.
Dude, 100% of the bets were on Dallas last week.
Right. And they should have been. So I don't think you can look at it that way. I'm still going Dallas, but it wouldn't shock me if New England was able to pull it off.
That line currently sitting at Dallas -6.5. I'd have set it closer to 8.5, so I'll take the Cowboys to cover. 425 Cardinals, 49ers. Biggest line I have seen on the year. The Niners are -14 against the team that knocked off Dallas last week in a 28-16 upset. That was a great win. I was impressed by Arizona. These are the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to take the 3-0 Niners to cover a 2-touchdown spread.
Yeah, I think that's probably not a bad bet.
It's a terrible bet. You should not touch this game. But I got to make a pick on the air. Give me San Francisco. And we wrap it up at 8:20 p.m. when your Kansas City Swifts take on the New York Football Jets.
I guess that's not disrespectful. She is going to be in attendance again. Oh man, made it the whole day without one.
You knew we weren't getting through without some Tay-Tay.
I didn't
at the
know
end.
that. I mean, it's like I guarantee you won't hear that at this time Monday though. So I mean, there's that.
I guarantee you are correct. The Chiefs in this game on Sunday night are -8.5. Yup. Yeah, because Travis Kelce's got a Tay-Tay to impress. Kelsey's going to score 3 touchdowns in this game.
Hey, I wonder what the getaway car is going to be this week. Last week, I am told, well, on this podcast, it was the Chevelle. So, I mean, who knows what he's a car guy. So
Tay-Tay probably going to have like 15 cars show up and be like, Travis, which one do you want?
No.
Which one we want? Which one we rocking?
Come on. Travis pretty rich, too. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, our final break of our final show in this time slot. We're back after this to wrap it all up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. They're going to give her Carrie Underwood's gig on the spot.
She already turned down the Super Bowl, performing at the Super Bowl, though. You know, it's because they don't get paid. That's why. She doesn't need that for
that blows my
publicity.
Mind that they don't pay those artists for a halftime show.
Because the thing of the exposure, it's the greatest exposure you could have as an artist playing on Super Bowl.
Yeah, but does Beyonce need exposure? Does Taylor Swift need exposure?
Right. I mean,
of course, they also don't need money, but
you meant an actual boat, though, Keegan, right? Just for clarification. Flooding ain't no joke. I'm glad I live on a hill. Oh, that'd be great for her, Zach, if that's true.
There's no way. I mean, good for her, but no way. That can't be right. That's a dramatic amount of money for a 60-second song.
Underwood reportedly makes $1 million per week performing the
Son of a biscuit.
I mean, that's according to country. That's according to Country Living. I don't know how, you know.
Hey, ESPN, I'll do it for
actually Yahoo says that too. So.
I'll do it for like
Yahoo still exists.
$5,000 a Monday. I'll play it live for $5,000 every Monday.
Wait a minute. Whiskey Riff also says that. So if Whiskey Riff says it, you know,
trust them.
So does Sportskeeda. Muddy River News also says it. Wait. Never mind. Women's Health says it. There we go. That is the most reputable one on the whole thing. Women's Health. So it's got to be true.
Ryder Cup date McElroy and Fitzpatrick have given 2 in a row back to Morikawa and Schauffele, who are now 4 down with 4 to play. So they're going to lose that. Homa and Clark
really,
are up
Keegan?
on McIntyre and Rose through 15. Scheffler and Koepka are up 2 through 17. So they're going to win that. They're going to win that by 1. And Thomas and Spieth are tied with Hovland and Hatton. We're going to need that. We got to win that last one. That is through 17. So if they can't win the
Let's go,
18th,
Spieth.
we're going to end up with, if it holds, 1, 2.5 points. And they are going to end up with 1 point, which would make the score 5 to 2.5. And that's not the worst start, but it is far from the best.
Oh, so you were being legit, Keegan. Okay, cool.
I have heard of Whiskey Riff before.
Okay, so maybe Women's Health wasn't the most reputable. I take it back. But it's country music, so I wouldn't know anything about that. So that's why. Although I did know earlier that something was a Hank Williams Jr. song and not. I'll just want to point that out. Back in his heyday when all my friends decided we no longer like rock, we're country people.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there was. We were not friends for a whole lot longer after that.
All my friends say I started shooting doubles when you walked in. All my friends say.
What the Sam Hill are you singing, boy?
Anybody who talks like that knows what I'm singing.
Yeah, I probably do. He's sad. He's sad just a little bit sad. Maybe just a little bit.
No,
is there a
not sad at
tear?
all.
Maybe just a little bit of a tear.
No, not
maybe
sad at all.
maybe like that.
Excited.
You know that feeling in your heart like something is going to be lost in just 10 minutes.
I think everything is going to be gained. I'm not sad at all. I'm very excited about the move. I understand it is going to take me to get used to the new schedule. It should take me about 3 to 4 years. I'll be fine.
My grandpa body is saying, "You idiot! What'd you do?" All right, so normally we would play What the X, but I wanted to give us a chance to say goodbye.
Yep,
I
agree.
mean, to just, and now it's time to say goodbye.
Would you like to start?
Sure. Later. No, it's been cool being in this time slot, and looking forward to going to the mornings and having fun there. I'm sure. What's the guy's name is taking our place?
Bill Ryder.
I was just kidding. I knew who it was.
And Ryder Than You will be taking over the
By the way,
10 to noon slot.
if you are someone who cannot go with us, please remember that you can go back and watch on the stream. You can go to the Odyssey app and rewind. You can also get all the podcasts. So just because you can't be with us live doesn't mean you can't still be with us.
And for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, because you just joined the show, starting on Monday, Alonzo and I will be moving into the morning drive slot. The Rob Brown Show on Monday will start from 6 a.m. and go all the way till 10 a.m. 4 full hours of programming Monday through Friday from 6 to 10. So before we sign out for the final time this week and in this time slot for the final time ever.
He
from
said
9
he
to
said
noon.
slot. Really, he did.
I hope so. I want to say a sincere, first and foremost, thank you to Steve Sinacrapi and Mark Hendricks, who are trusting us. I mean, listen, that is one of the two most important day parts, the morning drive and the afternoon drive. So them trusting us in that slot, telling us we have earned that slot is greatly appreciated. And every bit as importantly, I want to say thanks to y'all. Thank you to you guys out there in the listening audience, because if you guys were not listening to the show, investing in the show, participating in the show, they would not have given us the opportunity to move to the morning drive and take a shot at building something new and building something better in that time slot. So to those of you that have been with us for the however long we've been here in the 9 to noon slot, it is greatly appreciated. We have enjoyed every single one of the shows that we have done with you guys. I hope that most, if not all of you, can come over and join us in the mornings. We're going to be on 6 to 10 starting on Monday. I hope those of you that have been with us in this time slot can join us in that one. For those of you that cannot, I want you to know you are still very much appreciated. You are loved. Thank you so much for doing what you guys have done to help us grow this time slot and earn the opportunity to go to the earlier time slot. If you can't listen live, go to thefanupstate.com. Within 10 minutes at the conclusion of every hour, Lonzo has the podcast posted there, so you can still listen to the show. You can still participate in the show. My social media handle stays up and open all day at The Rob Brown Show on Twitter, on Instagram. So does Lonzo's at Lonzo on Word. I hope you guys will stay engaged. I hope you guys will still participate. I hope you will be involved with the show to the max of your capacity. Again, thanks to Steve and Mark. From me, thank you to Lonzo, because I would not have been able to do all this if it was not for him, and we would not be moving where we're moving if it wasn't him, for him. And thank all of you out there who have participated, listened, engaged, and helped us grow this show and earn the opportunity to go grab us a morning drive slot. So I hope you all have a spectacular weekend. I hope you enjoy your football. I hope you enjoy whatever else you're getting into. Do not drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face, and we will see you back here on Monday, bright and early at 6 a.m. for the new edition of the new and improved and way too damn early in the morning Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Later. Yeah.
We speculated on that, Zach, and we don't know. I mean, it could actually be MJF. People are saying it's Edge, but I think Edge is too tall.
No, it's not.
And I think it's Roddy and those guys. I really do.
I have come up in my head, because this is what I do. I fantasy book, and then I convince myself that I am a fantastic booker, and I am the right way.
He also still has not faced the wall, so he must be good at it.
That sounds very very final.
No, he was just
for the day.
he just meant for the day.
Okay, because we're not going anywhere. We're moving early. There's two options here. All right. One is exactly what Zach just said. It's Adam Cole and the ankles of work, which would be amazing because they have got everybody to buy it. You know what I hope it is? I hope it's MJF.
Yeah.
I hope it's MJF. So, I hope.
But it could be MJF with those guys. And then Adam Cole's injury actually is legitimate.
I hope it is a swerve to a swerve. I hope that they've been going through this whole freaking thing, trying to convince you all that Adam Cole is the good guy, that Adam Cole's the bad guy, that MJF is this like reformed heel who turned his life around and Adam Cole helped him get better. All I want is for right before Adam Cole is about to turn on MJF, MJF stabs him in the back first, and then he rips off the devil mask. And when he does, and he spins around and he looks at the camera and he goes, "You stupid bleeping marks. I've been telling you this whole time I'm a scumbag. I don't know why you were cheering for me. You know I'm a scumbag. I know I'm a scumbag, but you know what else I am? Still world champion." I will lose my mind. Lose my mind.
It wouldn't shock me if that's what happens.
I hope it does.
Jesse, I hope you know it's all in good fun, dude.
Oh, for sure. Well.
All right, so there's a little part of me that's all right, there's a lot of me that enjoys doing it. But you know, I mean, but it's not about you. It's all about Zach. I just want to make Zach mad.
All right, dudes and dudettes, this may shock you, but we have a surprising amount of work to be done to move.
Nah, we're both just going home. That's all.
I wish.
Yeah, like I'm going home.
I've already got the 9 emails of things that I get to cut and record. So, all right, dudes, thanks so much for hanging out. Like I said, I hope all of you can join us in the new slot. We will still be streaming. We'll still be putting this on the website. I will do my best not to look like a crazy person at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right. Like that's going to happen.
If you can join us, great. If you can't, the video replays will still be available on the YouTube page, and the podcast will be on the website. You guys are amazing. Could not have done any of this without you. So thank you very much. Have a great football week, and we'll see you Monday.
Just hands.
Goodbye. Wait. All right, bye.
You can't hit stop while you're doing that.